Big Ten.
Kamala is at a dance party with Beyoncé. Beyonce, Beyonce, Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Beyonce, 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 Beyonce. Party with Beyonce. Beyonce, Beyonce, Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Beyonce, 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 Beyonce. Party with Beyonce. Beyonce.
Stop. Carry on.
Dance party with Beyonce. Beyonce. 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 Beyonce.
Hold up.
Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. 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 Party with Beyonce. 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 Beyonce.
Hotep, hope you motherfuckers understand.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Man, we had a lot of technical difficulties tonight. Hey, yo, I'm trying something new. Fellas, ladies and gentlemen. I'm streaming live, vertical as well as horizontal on YouTube. We got Kick and we got Rumble going at the same time. I want to see how my machine handles this. You know what I mean? So that's why we had a little bit of issues in the beginning. I should have did a test stream before I went live today. It was some impromptu thing that I was doing. One in the chat if y'all can hear me. One in the chat. If you can hear me. All right, that's what's up. No echoes or nothing like that. There we go. Man, oh man, bruh. And it was touch and go for a minute. I was like, uh-oh, my software acting a fool. My software is acting a fool, man. Like I said, we live, guys. We live on YouTube Shorts and we live on YouTube, guys. How about that? We getting it. There we go. We got the emojis bouncing around the screen. That's what I'm talking about. Hold on. Did I put those on here too? Hold on, let me see. Let's do this. I'm trying to make sure everything is the same as everything. You know what I mean? So let's see. We got to do this. Bow. I thought I did this already. Hold on. Oh, there we go. There we go. We're going to do that. Boom. We're going to bring this down like that. Bow. There we go. That should be good right there. Oh, man. We're trying to take advantage of that algo. You know how it go. So, if everything goes according to plan, we'll have a bunch of Kamala bots in the building. If not, then oh well. Anyway, guys. Welcome to Cannon Speaks. If you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon. It'll let you know when I got new content coming out. Please share this stream, guys. Let people know we live. You catching the replay, leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. I can use that constructive criticism, y'all. Oh, man. Let's see. What's going on here? Let me see what we got going on here. Okay. Let me see. Boom. And then we got this one. Hold on, we got both. Hold on, we got two. Hold on, which one we got going on up here? Val, we gonna go here, exit here, and this one. Which one we got going on? I think this one here. 1 second, y'all. Wow, is that the right one? I'm trying to figure out which one is which right now. Give me a second. Bow, there we go. All right, we good. We gravy. All right. Is that right? See. All right, we good. We gravy. Anyway, guys, welcome to Cannon Speaks. Oh man. Just trying to see what my computer can handle. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see. We're gonna check it out. Anyway, so if you missed the show earlier today, you missed a fantastic show. How they clone AOC with the fatty? AOC been eating good? AOC been eating good in the neighborhood? Oh shit. That's crazy. Uh-oh. Man. What a weekend, Joe. If y'all missed the show earlier, I missed a fantastic show. I missed a classic show earlier today. I went live earlier today, as I usually do in the car, but I went live from the house. Man. AOC pregnant? Somebody that knocked her up? Somebody that gave AOC a little bambito? Oh, shit. Oh, man. Okay. Well, congratulations to AOC. I guess we're going to find out as time goes on, man. Oh, you seen speculation? HJ been traveling back and forth. HJ been traveling back and forth. That what happened? Oh, goodness gracious. AOC looking preggers. Uh-oh. Oh, man. You know what? More power to her. More power to her. More power to AOC. Wait till HJ find out. That's funny. HJ gonna lose it. HJ gonna lose it. That's it. That's his boo, right? What's going on? There we go. That's HJ boo, ain't it? Uh-oh. HJ. Jonah said, nah, she just fat. Oh man. Yo, so Beyonce, I don't know if Beyonce rickrolled Kamala or if Kamala rickrolled her constituents. This weekend she was in Houston and Beyonce was supposed to sing. She's supposed to sing that song Freedom, whatever that song is, and Beyonce got up there and gave like a little 3-minute speech and was like, all right, see you later, guys, bye. And apparently, that did not go over well with the Kamala bots. They were pissed, and I don't even know if they're Kamala bots, to be honest with you, because everybody that showed up to that rally, they was there to see Beyonce. They weren't there to see Kamala. They were there for a dance party with Beyonce. They wasn't there for Kamala. They was not there for Kamala. I'm gonna tell you that much. They was not there for Kamala. Hold on, let me see something. Boom, let's do this. I'm still trying to bow. I think we good right there. Yeah, they wasn't there for Kamala. They was there for Beyonce. Beyonce went up there and she gave a 3-minute speech. Apparently they gave Beyonce $20 million. That's the rumor. The rumor is they gave Beyonce $20 million. And all she did was a 3-minute speech. Beyonce was like, y'all 30 million short. Beyonce said, you're 30 million short. All you get is an endorsement from me. That's it. I heard people was pissed off in the audience. People started leaving and all this other stuff, man. Kamala is done. Kamala is flailing. She's flailing. She's done. It's over for her. It's over for her. She has to resort to celebrities to help her fill out rallies. Meanwhile, Donnie T, salute to Donnie T. Donnie T out here selling out Madison Square Garden. He ain't got no tricks. He ain't got no antics. Donnie T ain't got no tricks or no antics. He just out here selling out Madison Square Garden because he's a G. He just got him and his word. That's it. People are going there to see him and him alone. They're not there to see nobody else, no gimmick, no celebrity that backs, and they're there to see him talk. They came far and wide to go to Madison Square Garden to hear Donnie T speak. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris, on her name alone, couldn't fill a library. She couldn't fill a library. And they want us to believe that this race is close. That's the funny part. They want us to believe that this race is close. Fire in the chat. Fire emojis in the chat if Donnie T gonna win this handily. Hit that like button if Donnie T gonna win this thing handily. That's what I want to know. Let's get them fire emojis in. Let's get them ones in the chat if Donnie T gonna win this handily. Kamala Harris is done. She was on Club Shay Shay. I guess she went on Club Shay Shay over the weekend or Friday or something like that, to try to boost her image, and that was a fucking, apparently from what I heard. We're gonna review that tonight. That's actually what we're doing tonight. We're gonna review her Club Shay Shay interview. That's what we're about to do. We're gonna review her Club Shay Shay interview and see how she did there, because I guess it's just supposed to be a talk. It's just supposed to be a talk. I guess she opted to go on Shay Shay instead of Joe Rogan. I guess to show that she's pro-black. I'm assuming that's why she went on Club Shay Shay instead of Joe Rogan. I'm assuming that's why. Kamala Harris is toast, man. She is toast. Kamala Harris is she's not gonna make it, man. She's not gonna make it. The Democrats are gonna get desperate. They're gonna try some nonsense. I'm telling you guys. There we go. She can't be saved. She cannot be saved. I'm sorry. Not one celebrity. Obama can't do it. Michelle Obama can't do it. Beyoncé can't do it. Meg Thee Stallion can't do it. Her image is just terrible. Her image is just terrible. Oh yeah, we definitely gonna have another Summer of Love if he wins. I got a feeling that they're not gonna certify the election if Donnie T wins. They're not gonna certify the election if Donnie T wins. I'm just letting y'all guys know that. That's how I feel about it. They're not gonna certify the election if Donnie T wins. That's the sad part. What's up, Alicia Reeves in the building? I keep saying that Nixon won 49 states since 1972. It's a wrap for it, guys. It's a wrap. Anybody think that Kamala Harris has a shot in hell is sorely mistaken. They're in for a rude awakening. I placed my early vote today. And needless to say, it was ridiculous. I got in there, right? So I'm waiting in line to go in and place my vote. And I'm sitting in line and I get up to the front. The lady goes, "Excuse me, sir, can you remove your AirPods, please? They're prohibited in the voting area." And I wanted to say some dumb shit. I wanted to be like, so we not checking IDs. But we're not checking IDs, and that's okay. But my AirPods are fucking no-go. That's where you draw the lines, right here. But I digress. I just took them off and I put them in my pocket. I get up to the lady. She says, "What's your name and your address?" And I give her my name, and she's looking at her little computer, and she's confused. The lady's confused. I'm like, "Everything okay?" She's like, "Are you Brandon P or Brandon K?" And I wanted to be like, if you asked me for my ID, you would know. If you asked me for my ID, you would know who I am. You wouldn't have to ask me which Brandon I am. That's what I wanted to say. But I didn't want to be a dickhead. So I said, "You know what? All right, cool. Okay. All right. Okay." So I went ahead and I just told her who I was, and then she still looked for a minute and she was looking all puzzled. And I'm just like, if you just ask for my ID, it has my name and my address and all that stuff on there. But we want to be all happy since, we want to be all happy because you didn't ask for ID, but you don't even know if I'm really who I say I am. I know, right? Exactly. If I say that, they're like, "Oh my God, he's a Trump supporter." And they would have fucking altered my ballot or some shit and it wouldn't have got accepted. Oh man, Joe Beard says those ballot boxes are hot in Washington State. Apparently in Arizona, they're sweltering. Excuse me. Apparently it is, and they're sweltering. Oh my gosh, man. It's crazy out here in these streets, yo. It's crazy out here in those streets. Exactly. Now I know there's another guy with my name with the P is his middle name. I can go and act like I'm him. You know what I mean? Have I ever heard of a municipal ID? Nah, what's that? I like fire. They tripping, y'all. I put that on Twitter earlier today, yo. And I said, here we go. Here we go with the nonsense. Here we go with the nonsense. But the question is, right? See, some people are speculating that these ones that are set on fire are ones where Trump's actually doing well in the polls. I don't know. I don't want to say that that's the case, but it could be. I couldn't tell you. Telling you Brandon K on the 5th, just plead the 5th. Right, exactly. Oh, goodness gracious. But yeah, check this out. So as you can see, it says, this is from my Citizen app, because I got a Citizens app because I'm sometimes in not a good area, so I need to know where the fuck I am sometimes. It says explosive devices were placed in ballot boxes in Vancouver, Washington, and Portland, Oregon early this morning, sparking fires and destroying hundreds of ballots. Last week, an intentionally set fire also destroyed a ballot box in Phoenix, Arizona. Hundreds of ballots were destroyed in Vancouver, authorities said. It is yet unclear how many were destroyed in Portland and Phoenix. How about that? That's bruh. Now, the question is what part of Portland and all, like, are these Trump supporting areas? We don't know. But the thing is, right, I would tend to believe that Trump supporters aren't using these mail-in ballot boxes. Convincing wisdom would tell me that they're not using those ballot boxes. You know? They're what? They're angry we're going after their queen? And they don't even believe that that's their queen. That's the funny part, is just that they're going along with the narrative. They're going along with the bullshit. Like, I guess we're supposed to vote for Kamala. I think that's who we're supposed to vote for. That's what they say. It's ridiculous, y'all. It's crazy. I'm telling you, they're going to pull some BS. They're either Trump's going to win on election day, like handily, like it's going to be uncontested. Like there's no way to contest it. What up, Emmanuel? There's going to be no way to contest it, right? Either he's going to win. There's going to be no way to contest it, or it's close. But I doubt if it's close. I think he's going to win. There's going to be no way to contest it, and I think that they're not going to certify. I think they're not going to certify the election. I think they're going to figure out a way to get him out of the paint. They're going to try to do some process, and they won't call it an insurrection. They're not going to call it that. They're not going to call it election meddling. They're going to try to pull the same shit they pulled in 2016 when it was doing the Russia hoax. You know what I mean? Joe Beer said we are the most adorable little ladies that run our election polling place. ID's mandatory. See, that's how it should be. That way you're not guessing if you just gave the right person the right piece of paper, or you know what I mean. Like, I could have voted for anybody. This lady was like, "Are you?" I'm pretty sure she really wasn't supposed to like give me somebody else's name. You know what I mean? Like, if you just asked me for my ID, I would have gave it to you. I'd have gave you my ID, lady. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, it just, like, I feel like I was taking,
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
But Maryland prides themselves on not giving out, they pride themselves on that shit. They pride themselves on that shit. I don't understand it. Anyway, if you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon. It'll let you know when I got new content coming out. Please share this stream, guys. Let people know we live. You catching the replay, leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. I can use that constructive criticism. You want to donate to the channel? $Cannon Hotep on Cash App. Super Chat, Rumble Rants, always welcome, guys. Always welcome. I'm trying to check on both streams now. Cause like doing this, it pulls on a lot of it. I gotta delete a few of them. I gotta delete a few of these streams. Let me see. I have to do that in a second. I'll do it. Hold on. Bear with me, people. Before we get to it, because we're gonna review this Club Shay Shay interview, because she skipped Joe Rogan to go on Club Shay Shay. Right? That's what she did. She skipped Joe Rogan to go on Club Shay Shay. That's what she did. See. But I need to delete some of these lives though. All right, so let's do this. Delete forever. Get that one gone. Do the same thing here. So far, no Kamala bots. Maybe they just work Monday through Friday between a certain time and a certain time. Well, maybe they'll be in here in a little bit. You know how they do. What's up, Daisy Girl? Daisy Girl in the building. Maybe they're tired of arguing with me because they can't win. These Kamala bots they can't win. They can't win. That's all it is. It's okay. I guess they know when they need to admit defeat. Their candidate is looking fucking terrible. Their candidate is looking horrible. You can't spin it. No one can spin it. No one can spin it. That's the funny part. You just shake your slave chains at the ballot box. That's funny. That's pretty damn funny. That's pretty damn funny. Let's do this. We're gonna move these up here. Boom. We're gonna move these. We're gonna keep those right there. Yeah, what the hell was that? All right, there we go. So I'm about to pull up this Club Shay Shay thing. We're gonna go over this. We're gonna go over this. This is funny to me. Let's see. Club Shay Shay. Make sure you get them likes up, guys. Let's see. Here we go. It's an hour and 3 minutes long. So she couldn't even, an hour and 3 minutes long. So you know she had a hard out. She had a hard out pause. That's what it seems like. I must hate black women. That's the only way I can complain about Kamala. I guess that's how that works, Emmanuel. I guess that's how that is. Let's get this thing started up. Let's see. Where we at? What the hell is this? Goodness gracious.
Thank you.
The presidential nomination.
No.
All my life, I've been grinding on.
Let's not do that because we're gonna get a what's the name? They probably, I don't know, we probably get a copyright strike for watching Club Shay Shay. We probably get a copyright strike for watching Club Shay Shay. Oh, Lord have mercy. Here we go. Let's get it. So the cool part is that I'm streaming vertical, and the people that's watching on YouTube Shorts, you can watch along and cry or cheer, depending on where you are. Is bootlicky? Oh man, the comments are diabolical. You talking about in Shay Shay's comments? I heard. Anyway, let's get it. Let's go. Let's get this. All right, I'm gonna move these up here too. Move these up here to me so people can see. Actually, no, let's put it right there. Boom. That's perfect. Bow. All right, let's go. Let's go.
For Conversation on the Drink today, she's the highest ranking woman in U.S. history. She's made a career of being first. She's the first woman to serve as Attorney General, African American, Asian American descent. She's also she's been district attorney of San Francisco. She was the nation's first Indian American senator. She's the first woman, first black Asian American to be elected vice president. She set the record for the most.
So she's the first Asian American senator. And then he skips to she's the first black African American president. They're trying to touch on all the bases, aren't they? They're trying to hit all the fucking points.
Tie-breaking votes cast by vice president. She's the first black woman, Asian American in U.S. history, Asian American, to be elected vice president. She set the record for the most tie-breaking votes cast by vice president.
She set the record for the most tie-breaking votes cast by a vice president. So we can already know how she voted. Shit is fucking bad here in America, and we already see how she voted. All her tie-breaking votes went to these draconian fucking dystopian laws that we have on the books today. But people still want to vote for her. It's all fucking bad in the hood. It's all bad, and they still want to vote for her. But I digress. Let's keep going.
She's the first black woman, Asian American in U.S. history to win the presidential nomination of a major party. She's the first HBCU grad, making us proud. She's a Howard University alum. She's a member of the prestigious Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Here she is in person, Madam VP, Kamala Harris. Madam VP, how you doing?
Thank you very well, Shannon. How you
It is an
doing?
extreme honor, privilege, and a pleasure to have you on Club Shay Shay. CJ, who's the producer here, when we started this journey, Madam VP, 4 years ago, celebrities, athletes, entertainers, influencers.
Yeah.
VPs and presidential hopefuls were on the bingo card. You here, so I want to thank you very much.
I thank you.
When we have guests come on, Madam VP, we like to toast. And what I read on this card, you don't deserve this, you earned this. Being the first in so many areas. And you make us proud. I just want you to know you make us proud for what you've been able to accomplish. And we're 12 days away.
He already bootlicking. Right, I was just getting to that. He already bootlicking. She won no nomination. She won no nomination. She was selected. They put her ass there, and that's that. They pulled a Hillary from 2016 is what they did. They pulled a Hillary from 2016 is what they did. But they want you to believe. They want you to believe that she was nominated democratically. Oh, boy.
And we hope you have an even greater accomplishment. So here's to continue success and everything you're doing.
I need Shannon Sharp to get a bigger suit. I need Shannon Sharp to get a bigger suit. I'm sorry, guys. Like, them little skinny suits on big niggas just don't work. It don't work. Get a bigger fucking suit. You look crazy. Oh, man. Jeez Louise.
Done and everything that you will do.
Oh, bless you and thank you. And to you, Shannon, to you for all the success and the voice you give to so many issues. Thank you for that.
Thank you very
And
much.
cheers
She already
to you.
off to a
And I'm not going to actually drink this because I might fall asleep. And I need to do this
I don't want you to
with
fall
Barack
asleep.
Obama this afternoon.
We don't want you to fall asleep.
So she name dropping Barack Obama and she name dropping Barack Obama and somebody was in her ear and said, don't you fucking drink that. Put it down. Put it down. Oh, man. He giving Alpha Metro. Somebody told her ass, don't you fucking, somebody in her ear, her little pearl earbuds, don't you fucking drink that.
Oh, here we are. Cheers to everybody.
So before we get into the things that you want to do once you become president of the United States, I want to go back. When you found out when President Biden called you and said that he was no longer going to seek re-election, and you got that call, do you remember where you were and what you thought when you heard him say these words to you?
I do. So I was home. It was a Sunday afternoon. And my niece, her husband, and their 2 young daughters were visiting and staying with us. And I promised the kids I'd have pancakes and bacon and everything.
Okay.
And then after that, I had a puzzle for the kids, and we were sitting down to do the puzzle.
Okay.
And the phone rang.
Okay.
And it was President Biden. And so that's when he told me. And it was obviously life-changing in so many ways. But, you know, I have to tell you, Shannon, I at that moment, I knew what it would mean, but not in the detail of it, but I certainly understood the seriousness and the gravity of the moment. And actually, one of the first people I called was my pastor.
Wow. Okay.
No way she did that. There's no way she just invoked the church. There's no way she invoked the church. Ain't no way she just invoked the church. Look, I'm not saying she don't got a pastor, but I'm saying I don't think she got a pastor is what I'm saying.
And the gravity of the moment. And actually, one of the first people I called was my pastor.
I'm sorry. Flag on the play. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that she don't go to pastor. I'm not saying that she ain't got no spirituality. What I'm saying is I doubt it. I doubt it. I think she pandering to the black community. The first person she called was her pastor. Doug Morrow in the building says, Satan lies. The first person she called was her pastor. Are we being serious right now? Shit does not. It's full cap. Full cap. Calling her pastor the new part of her story. She pandering. She's pandering to the black community is what she's doing. And they probably eating this shit up. They're eating this shit up like fucking Frosted Flakes. That's what they're doing. She called her pastor. Get out of here.
Wow. Okay.
I knew I needed a moment to just be still and for my spirit
She called on Vishnu.
and my mind to have clarity about the seriousness of the moment and my role.
Adam, that's interesting. Who's your pastor? What church? That's you know, for those for our viewers who don't know, you know, who's your pastor? And then just like when they asked her what kind of gun she had, and she was like, I got a Glock. I got a Glock. I got a Glock. Ask who her pastor is. That would have been dope. That would have been my follow-up question.
And I'll never forget
Right.
that call or that moment or that day.
Your life instantaneously changed in that moment.
Yes, it did.
Because now all of a sudden you weren't going to be running, you weren't going to be the VP anymore. You were going to be front and center. And
Right.
you knew what the undertaking, having been 4 years as the vice president, what that moment would mean.
I had a sense of it, you know, like so many of us, you know, when you this is your life, right? So there are those moments where your instinct kicks in sometimes before your conscious mind and thoughts do.
Right.
And my instinct kicked in immediately that I need to focus and I need to do certain things immediately, which included making, I think we estimated I made over.
You know Jamal Bryant from Baltimore, right? He from Baltimore. He got a lot of scandal. His father sat him down. His own dad, his dad's a bishop. His dad sat him down because I think he had a bunch of baby mamas come out against him and was like, yo, he don't pay us no child support. He got a kid over here. He got a kid over there. His father sat him down in his own church for like a year. I mean, even a righteous man falls 7 times. 7 times 7. You know what I mean? Even a righteous man, 7 times 7, you know what I mean? But yeah, he got a lot of scandal too. And then he left the church that he built here in Baltimore to go to Atlanta. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Over 100 calls that day. My team, and I have an incredible team, all came in.
Here go these goofy ass niggas coming in. Yeah, I'm gonna talk the whole fucking interview because it's called a review. It's called a review. Yeah, it's called a review, and I'm trying not to get a copyright strike. How about that? What is it? It's a sunny night. Either sit the fuck back and listen, or you can leave the channel.
And nobody expected, right? It was a Sunday afternoon.
Correct.
In fact, we actually joked who had taken a shower that day. Because, people came in their workout clothes.
Right.
Different people and, a bandana around their head, just, and came in. And we then, for hours and hours, well into the night.
Did you tell them? Did you tell them why you had summoned them to come to your place? Did you give them that news, or were you waiting for them to get there to share that news with them?
Well, so the news started to, as you can imagine, pretty much immediately, and but of the many blessings that I have and have had, one of them is an incredible team of people around me. You know what that's like,
Yes.
where they're just there and they will rise to a moment. And no matter how high that moment is, or meaning how serious it is, and what I love, and it's certainly my own work ethic, that there is no job too small or too big if there's something that needs to get done.
So, although you have a huge role now, what's a typical day like for you now once you've been thrust into this? What time are you normally getting to bed? What time are you getting up? And what's some of the activities that you do in a given day?
What?
I'm having, I'd probably estimate 14-hour, 15-hour days.
Okay.
When I wake up, no matter how little sleep or how much sleep I've had, I work out every morning.
Okay.
You know,
Yes.
it's like mind, body, and spirit, right? And then, and that's the only time of my day I really own. And then it is, these days, it's not unusual for me to be in 3 or even 4 cities in one day. Rallies with thousands of people, 10,000 people showing up, making calls to folks. Just now I landed in Atlanta, the mayor of Atlanta, who greets me every single time.
Yep.
So I'll talk with elected leaders who are supportive about, so for example, here in Atlanta, what do we need to do to make sure that we're giving folks the resources to knock on doors and remind folks of the power of their voice? And 12 days in, it really is a lot about trying to focus on getting folks to know their power, to not let anybody suppress or silence their voice, and to vote.
Right. So breakfast. What does Madam VP eat for breakfast, or do you have time to, or is it on the go?
No, I
hope Shannon, I hope we get a system. Okay, we're only 8 minutes in, so let's give him some grace. Because he's asking no real questions so far. What did she eat for breakfast? First off, he asked what did she do in a day as the vice president, and she started talking about her presidential election. Yeah, she can't even get that shit right. It's only 8 minutes in. Let's see what he does. Let's just see what he does. What she eat for breakfast? Are we serious right now? That bag must have been substantial.
When I was younger, I didn't think I needed breakfast. I wasn't a breakfast eater.
Okay.
Now I have breakfast every morning. It's usually a spinach omelet. It's not very exciting.
Right.
But it's protein with a little vegetable. And, I like chicken, apple sausage, and some toast, and then I'm gone.
Madam VP, you're a couple of years older than myself, so we kind of grew up in the 80s. But I'm only 35.
Come on now, I'm your guest.
No, but you only 30. But we grew up.
But just keep moving, because I'm gonna give you a shovel in a minute.
I see. You won't let it go. Dang. We could have just moved on past that real quick, but you drew attention to it. But we grew up in the 70s when music went in fire. Ohio players.
Oh yes, fire. Come on.
Oh, you were like fire. Come on. I see. You.
Not very exciting.
Right.
But it's protein with a little vegetable, and I like chicken, apple sausage, and some toast, and then I'm gone.
Madam VP, you're a couple of years older than myself, so we kind of grew up in the 80s. But I'm only 35.
Come on now, I'm your guest.
No, but you only 30. But we grew up.
But just keep moving, because I'm gonna give you a shovel in a minute.
I see. You won't let it go.
This nigga just said he 35.
We could have just moved on past that real quick, but you drew attention to it. But we grew up in the 70s when music went in fire. Ohio players.
Oh yes, fire. Come on.
Oh, you were like fire.
Come on.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
What the fuck was that? Dun, dun. Yo. All right. I'm assuming this is the attempt of trying to humanize Kamala Harris, because she's getting dragged. She's getting dragged like bad. Like anytime you get heckled at your own rally, back to back to back, he's trying to humanize her, I guess. So he's asking these softball ass questions. Like this isn't even a conversation. This is it's like a fucking, like he's trying to win a date with her or some shit like that. 35 with 87-year-old knees. That nigga ain't 35 years old. Ain't no way. You don't think she ever heard Fire before? Bruh, I probably know more Earth, Wind, and Fire songs than she does. But I digress. But this must be their way of humanizing her, I'm assuming. But this is terrible. So far, this is terrible. This is terrible so far. I would have tuned out already. Only reason this is my first time sitting here watching this with you guys. I'd have probably tuned out of this shit already. But let's keep the party going.
What do you listen to now?
Oh, you know, I wish I were listening to more music, to be honest with you, because I love it. Just, but
You don't
when
have
I
downtime? Like when you have downtime?
I don't have any downtime, really. I know my little violin I'm playing right now with you. I really don't. But when I love jazz. Mm-hmm. You know, if it's from Thelonious Monk to Miles Davis, I love Aretha. I was just with Stevie.
Right.
Stevie's, can I tell you?
Yes, you can.
Bucket list. Stevie Wonder on my birthday sang me happy birthday.
Happy
birthday to me.
Oh my.
Can you imagine?
No.
I was literally,
I mean, she wearing fucking wireless earbuds as earrings. I would assume she could walk around and listen to music at the same time, but she doesn't get a chance to do that. That's pretty interesting. She doesn't have an answer. What do you listen to? She doesn't have an answer. She doesn't have an answer. Her answer used to be Tupac. Her answer used to be Tupac. Now she don't got an answer. But what I will say is this. I wouldn't mind meeting. What's going on? Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't even know what she's saying. Like her answer would have been Tupac and Biggie or some shit like that. But I think that's too on the nose right now. I think somebody said, don't say Tupac or Biggie. That's too on the nose. That is too on the nose. I think that's what they're saying to her. So now she said, I don't really get a chance to listen to much music. Okay. The most busiest person can listen to some music while they, whistle while you work, right? But I'm not going to ding her for that. It's what it is.
It was surreal. A bucket list moment
right.
when Stevie Wonder himself sings you happy birthday?
As an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Could you imagine
Never.
Your life would have been like this?
Never.
This many years
Never.
later?
And let me tell you, my mother she had every Stevie and every Aretha Franklin record, every album. Like literally every one of them. So Songs in the Key of Life, like all those Stevie songs that were about everything from the movement
you got 110
to
watching.
Optimism. I would have never at 18 thought that he'd be singing me happy birthday. Ever. Never.
That's the least. But obviously everybody knows who Stevie is. He was a child prodigy, 13 years old, and he was doing great things. But to see, Madam VP, what you've been able to do, you've had so many firsts. The first woman attorney general, African American, Asian American descent. Mm-hmm. You was the DA of San Francisco. You were the first Indian American U.S. senator.
Second black woman ever in the history of the United States Senate elected. Second in the history of the United States Senate.
Have you had an opportunity to sit back and reflect and it's like, wow, but work is not yet done? That's
more where I am. The work is not done. The work is not yet done. There's so much to do. To your point, being in the Senate, there is a weight of responsibility that I know we all feel, right?
When we escape past it. Like, I'm like, what's your favorite Earth, Wind, and Fire song? Oh man, really, Stevie? What's one of your favorite Stevie songs? She probably couldn't do it. This is ridiculous. This is their milquetoast way of trying to make her likable, trying to humanize her. So Madam President, what do you eat for breakfast? What do you eat for breakfast? Like scrambled eggs and bacon? Like scrambled eggs and bacon, Madam President? Like, come on, y'all. Let's get to some real substance.
Have been blessed with an experience that allows us to be a role model.
Great.
And to hopefully inspire people and to remind them of what's important or point out the things that need to be addressed. So, for example, as only the second black woman elected to the United States Senate, I took on a real role of leadership around black maternal mortality, which affects black women and affects their spouses, their husbands, their families, their children. And I feel a sense of responsibility and a very strong duty to make sure that I use my voice and in a way that is about lifting up people who have not always been in the room.
Hello, America. Mr. States and Shape stepped out.
Wait a minute. So They found a way to put ads in here already because he can't read his own ads. He can't read his own ads. That's what it is. I ain't saying Shannon Sharp dumb. I'm just saying he don't read his own ads. So they just throw fucking clips in here like fuck it. They like fuck it. If you got YouTube Premium, you gonna catch these fucking ads.
If you could speak to your 18-year-old self,
Hotep,
what would you tell her?
If I could speak to my 18-year-old self, I would probably tell her, continue to keep your friends. You know, my best friend from kindergarten is still one of my best friends.
What?
Yes.
Y'all made it to the first grade, this man?
She say this shit every fucking chance she gets, Shannon Sharp. He's so surprised by that. He's so surprised that she says it all the fucking time. All of the time. What? She said at every rally that she got her best friend since high school or elementary school or some shit like that. We got 150 watching on YouTube. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification icon, guys. One's in the chat. If Kamala Harris and Shannon Sharp look like assholes. One's in the chat if Donnie T gonna win handily. Hit that like button if Donnie T gonna win handily.
Yes. In fact, she's been out knocking on doors in North Carolina just this last week for me. Wow. I would say, you know, hold on to that, which is your friends are so important. Your family is so important. I would probably encourage myself at 18 to remember that you have a lot of people who are supporting you, even if they don't know you. You know, that's what I mentor a lot of people, Shannon. So this is what I'm really reflecting on, which is what I tell the young people I mentor, including to know that even when you are in that room and you're the only one who looks like you or who has had your life experience, to know you are not alone in that room and that you must therefore walk in that room, chin up, shoulders back, knowing we're all there applauding you. When I mentor young women and men, I remind them that you are often going to be told, well, it's not your time, not your turn, you're too young, nobody like you has done this before. And I tell them, you know, don't you ever listen to that. I like to say, I eat no for breakfast. I don't hear no. You ask me what I eat for breakfast? I eat no for breakfast. I don't hear it.
Right.
And I eat no for breakfast. What? What? Hold on. I eat no for breakfast with French fried potatoes. Like what? This is terrible. I eat no for breakfast. It's too much, y'all. You said that they're alleging that her mother was a part of the MK Ultra. I mean, in order for her to be in a position she's in, somebody somewhere in her life or has to be a part of some kind of situation or some kind of lineage or some kind of birthright or something. If that's the case, then maybe her mother and Obama's granddaddy worked together or some shit. I don't know. That's Kufi on type time. That's that Kufi on tight time right there. We got to get into that. I'm gonna look into that, Daisy Girl. Matter of fact, Daisy Girl, send me what you got on that. Matter of fact, send me what you was watching.
That's part of what are my life lessons that I try to share with young people to remind them that you cannot ever be burdened by other people's limited ability to understand who you are. Like, don't let their limited ability burden you about your own ability, you know?
Madam VP, you were raised by a single mom. What did that experience tell you about your mom, and what did it tell you about you?
Well, it told me that one of the things that is precious is to build community and family. Okay. Like my mother, she understood that there is a community that she wanted her children to be raised in. Mm-hmm. And she was very intentional and purposeful about that. And so I always say to people, even when I took the stage as the nominee for the Democratic nomination, that,
Probably
you know, there is
did.
the family that you have by birth, and there is also the family you have by love. And they're equally family,
Yes.
right? And I learned that from my mother. So my mother, I had all these aunties and uncles. My Uncle Sherman, who was one of the first black men to graduate from Berkeley School of Law, who, when we were young girls, sat us down and taught us how to play chess. Because Uncle Sherman said, you need to understand how the chessboard works, because that's the way the world works. They're going to be different players with different moves. And you need to see the whole board. My mother raised us around, like my Auntie Chris, who went to Howard in the 50s and pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha. And she was one of my incredible role models growing up. And that was one of the big reasons I wanted to go to Howard University and pledge Alpha Kappa Alpha. Those are some of the lessons that I've learned from my mother. And I try to also share with people.
She said her Uncle Chris pledged. I must have missed something. I thought she just said her Uncle Chris pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha. Did she say Uncle Chris or Auntie Chris? Like, which one was that? I missed that part. I could have swore she said her Uncle Chris. Let's go back a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. I just didn't hear that.
Works. They're going to be different players with different moves. And you need to see the whole board. My mother raised us around, like my Auntie Chris, who went to
Auntie
Howard
Chris, okay.
in the 50s.
Auntie Chris.
And pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha. And she was one of my incredible role models growing up. And that was one of the big reasons I wanted to go to Howard University and pledge Alpha Kappa Alpha. Those are some of the lessons that I've learned from my mother. And I try to also share with people.
So was Auntie Chris on her mama's side or her daddy's side? Whatever. I find that hard. I don't know. Whatever.
Right, which is the beauty of community, and it's the way I am, right? Which is, you know, the children in my life, whether they be my own or, you know, my godchildren or whomever, right? That it's a collective responsibility that we have.
Did you know you were different? I mean, were there a lot of people in the community that looked like you or like your mom, or did your mom tell you were different?
Well, my mother taught us to, and everyone in my growing up, you know, they would tell all of us kids that we were special.
Elderberry.
I don't think we were particularly special.
Right.
But they told us we were, and we believed them.
Yes.
We believed them. I think that's such an important part of what we can all do for the children and the children in our lives. And, you know, but my mother raised 2 black girls to be proud black women. Back to music, one of the soundtracks from my childhood was, you know, You Are Young, Gifted, and Black. You know? And that's what it was.
I'll get the phone number later.
Jeez, yo, it's a lot of Call of Duty fucking ads in this thing. He must be getting a bag from Call of Duty. I need to know how to get some fucking some ad revenue like that. We got over 200 people watching the stream. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit that notification icon. We got 184 on the vert stream. We got 265 on the vert stream. And we got 30 on the horizontal stream. Make sure y'all hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. Hold up, I'm messing up.
That was pretty much what you had.
Grief is difficult. It's difficult. You know, there are 2 sides. Yes.
How did you cope with that loss?
Grief is difficult. It's difficult. You know, there are 2 sides to the coin about when you have relationships in your life that touch you deeply, and then to lose that person, it leaves a big void, right? That's the 2 sides. And I think that part of what I was just talking about this, but
her mother was a trailblazer.
Big part about grief is, especially if you lose somebody to a sickness, to an illness, I think it's really important that you try to remember them as they lived and not as they died.
Right.
Because I think that's how they'd want us to remember them, but also to remember their suffering, which hopefully was a fraction of their time on this earth, is to compound the grief in a way that I think it adds to the pain. And what they'd want is that their active memory, that our active memory of them is about when they were vibrant and alive.
Right.
Shannon Sharpe is intently sitting there not knowing what the fuck she's talking about. He is intently sitting there not knowing what the hell she is talking about. And understand this, guys. She is playing a character right now. Nothing about this right now is genuine at all. You can tell about how she's responding. Her over exaggeration of her hands. This is not genuine at all. She's trying way too hard to become to be likable instead of just being her fucking self. Just be yourself. Nobody's perfect. Like, she's sitting here acting like she's like this wholesome woman. That just always on the up. No, come on, just be real with the people. How'd you deal with your loss of your mother? I was devastated. Exactly, CW. Just say I was devastated by the loss of my mom. But I try to remember the good times. Like just be real. Stop all of this word salad. See what she's doing? I want y'all to understand this. What she's doing is trying to one up Trump. She's trying to sound more interesting than Trump. Right now, clearly this was shot around the same time that Trump went on Rogan, but Trump's been on multiple other podcasts, especially like Flagrant. Right? You know what I mean? He was genuine. He was himself and he explained himself, but she's trying to be that too, instead of just being what she is. This is why she's getting nowhere. This is why they got to astroturf the polls. Because she can't be, she's not likable. She's not relatable. When you talk these word salads and this and that, it's not relatable. Like Emmanuel said, so a Brahma woman told you that you were young, black, and talented. Like, come on. It's up there with, you know, that, oh, we celebrated Kwanzaa. Your mother did not celebrate Kwanzaa. Maybe you got to Howard and had a black boyfriend that turned you out and you tried to do it. But y'all did not celebrate Kwanzaa in your house. And Shannon Sharpe is over this bitch intently not knowing what the fuck she's talking about. He's trying to look engaged, and I'm sure he's sitting there like, yo, this is fucking horrible.
So
let's get into things that will change what will happen if you were to become president, say in the next 12 to 13 days.
Finally.
Polls suggest that voters trust President Trump, former President Trump, more on the economy. What can you tell the voters, our viewing audience, our listening audience, that if you were to become president, wow, Madam VP Kamala Harris will be much better on the economy than what President Trump was?
Well, so I'm really glad you brought that up, Shannon. So first of all, let's clear up certain myths.
I'm really glad you, like, anybody, like, I swear we should have had a drinking game. Which, I'm really glad you brought that up. She is not glad you brought that up. Now let's see if her answer changes from any of the other interviews. Let's see if her answer changed from any of the other interviews that she's had. Let's see if she comes up with a better fucking answer.
Well, let's clear up certain myths.
Okay.
You know those.
What can you tell the voters, our viewing audience, our listening audience, that if you were to become president, wow, Madam VP Kamala Harris will be much better on the economy than what President Trump was?
Well, so I'm really glad you brought that up, Shannon. So first of all, let's clear up certain myths.
Okay.
You know those checks that went out?
Yes, those stimmies.
Right. Right.
Stimulus check.
Yeah, I know. Well, right. Yes. Yes.
We got to be for stimulus, but they call them stimmies. Okay.
The reason those came about is because there was a Democratic majority in the House of Representatives and Congress. Mm-hmm. People like Maxine Waters, people like Hakeem Jeffries, right?
Yes.
Who did the work of pushing to say, people need help right now and we need to send out checks. There was a whole lot of opposition to it. including from Donald Trump's White House.
Yes, even him. I think he was resistant to it at first.
Yes. That's why those checks, remember, Congress holds the purse.
Yes.
The fuck does this got to do with what you going to do when you get in office? Trump already said, we know that he was against the stimulus checks. A lot of us was against the stimulus checks. Trump's like, we don't need to give out stimulus checks. Just open the fucking government up. Open the government up. That's all we had to do. Like I said earlier, Turkey, they were fine. A bunch of other countries were fine. Fucking Florida was okay. Open the economy up. Open the government back up. There's no need for us to stay shut down. But fucking her majority Democratic House and all that other shit, they wanted to keep the government shut down. So Trump had no other choice because people was suffering, and Trump does have a heart, despite what y'all fucking think. So reluctantly, he gave out that fucking stimulus check. He said, "We give out these checks. That shit's is gonna cause inflation. It's gonna be a detriment to the United States. We need to open the government back up." But she's not gonna say that. And a lot of us out here, a lot of you guys out there listening to me know that we weren't in that bad of a shape to where as though we couldn't open that government back up. So he gave out the checks. He didn't veto it. He signed it because people did need help. He like, yo, they gonna keep this shit shut down forever. They need something. They need something. But she gonna make it seem like this was a net negative. And actually, you know what? It was a net negative because we see the effects of that was just a small portion of the net negative that we got, other than the Ukraine funding that we've been fucking just handing out like sunshine. But again, he asked her, what are you going to do? Not what Donald Trump fucking did when he was in office about stimulus checks. What are you going to do when it comes to the economy? This is the way boys said, fund Ukraine.
So really, Congress wrote those checks, but then Donald Trump, unlike any president before or after, decided he put his name on those checks.
So therefore people thought
Donald Trump gave me that check.
Donald Trump gave you that check. Ultimately, Donald Trump gave you that check. He could have vetoed that shit and sent that shit right back. Do we not know how the law, do we not know how the fucking government works? The president's got veto power. I mean, this is ridiculous. But I digress.
And so let's clear that up first and foremost,
okay.
But let's also deal with where he was in terms of his policies on the economy. He gave the biggest tax cuts for billionaires and the biggest corporations, which caused an incredible deficit. He tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which we also call Obamacare, which benefited so many people, including and in particular black people in America who otherwise were denied by the insurance companies.
Y'all understand that Obamacare fucked a lot of people, right? Especially college students. It fucked a lot of college students. Those tax breaks he gave to his quote-unquote billionaire friends, guess what? They create jobs. He lowered the corporate tax rate is what she's talking about. He lowered the corporate tax rate. You know what that allowed? That allowed for companies to be able to stay here in America and be profitable. So companies didn't have to leave and outsource their jobs to other countries. That's what happens when you lower the corporate tax rate for people who create jobs. You remember that debacle that happened in New York with AOC and Amazon? Amazon was getting ready to open a plant in New York. I think it was in Brooklyn, was it? 50,000 was it 50,000 jobs or 25,000 jobs, making $150,000 a year on average? And because Amazon was going to get, what was it, like $3 billion in tax cuts, they shut that shit down. Failing to see that $3 billion in tax cuts and that Amazon plant was going to bring $27 billion in revenue back to New York. We forget about that. That's how fucking business works. All right, this part of the United States need jobs. This company's willing to come here and build their plant here or put their business here and give a bunch of jobs to these people, but we need to give them an incentive to be there. You give them the incentive to build their plant there. For example, Ford, they're about to send their fucking truck plant to Mexico. But because of the fucking tax cut that Trump gave to businesses, they were able to keep their truck plant in Alabama or Tennessee, or wherever it was. And Trump was honest about the Affordable Care Act. He said, yo, there's some good things about it and some bad shit about it. We didn't really have a concrete plan. We got a concept of a plan. We didn't have a concrete plan, so we left it in place. He didn't eliminate it because he could have eliminated it. She's talking about he wanted to get rid of it. He could have got rid of it if he wanted to. But he was honest about it. He said, yo, we had concepts of a plan, but we ain't had nothing concrete. There's some good shit about it and some bad stuff about it. So we left it alone until we came up with something, came up with a plan. That's what he said. That's what's called being honest and upfront with the people. He could have just fucking been spiteful and just fucking killed it. But he didn't do that. Y'all want to take up for Obamacare, but if somebody didn't have health care, Obama taxed the shit out of you for not having health care. Y'all forget about that? He taxed the shit out of you for not having health care. If you didn't have your own private insurance or insurance through your company, you had to get Obamacare. If you didn't get Obamacare, you got taxed.
Health coverage because of pre-existing conditions.
Yes, that's most important. Let the people know.
Right?
With a Affordable Care Act, if you have a pre-existing condition, insurance companies can no longer deny you coverage.
That's exactly right. And if you think about what that means in the context of also knowing the big health disparities we have in the black community, and how more likely, therefore, black folks might be to have pre-existing conditions.
High blood pressure, diabetes,
all of that.
Cancers.
All of that.
Yes.
Asthma for our children.
Yes. Sickle cell trait.
It's all of that. So by getting rid of the pre-existing condition ban, what that did, but he wanted to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
What we have done, and part of my policies going forward include what we need to do to not only retain the cap that we got on insulin at $35 a month for seniors. By the way, black folks are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes.
Correct.
He wants to get rid of it with that Project 2025. Everybody needs to check that out. What he would do to get rid of Social Security, or at least raise the age to 70, so you'd have to work to 70 to be able to qualify.
Right.
Trump's the one that came up with the fucking prescription drug plan. It was his plan. He had to enact it by executive order. December of 2020 is when Trump enacted his prescription drug plan. The same prescription drug plan that they tout that they created. February of 2021, Joe Biden fucking killed it. He killed it. He killed the executive order on prescription drugs, lowering the cost of insulin. And then when it was politically expedient, they reinstated it. And then she's sitting here talking about 2025, which has already been debunked. It's been debunked by who? Every newspaper and the guy that runs the Project 2025 think tank. Trump has nothing to do with that. But see, the funny part about this shit is this. The funny part about this shit is this, is that they won't go look at Agenda 47. That's the one that Trump touts. Trump touts Agenda 47. But y'all won't go look at Agenda 47 and pick that shit apart. That's the one that he said that's the one he said he backs. Trump said he ain't got nothing to do with Agenda 2025. He didn't even know what it was. The guy that runs the think tank said he has nothing to do with it. Some Reagan era shit that they just keep expounding on. But he said Agenda 47 is my thing. That's on his website. Agenda 47 is on his website. Go attack that. That's the one that he gloats about. Go attack that. See how bad it is. Funny part is y'all might not find anything wrong with it.
Get rid of Medicare, get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And that's just on health policy, not to mention bringing back not only tax cuts for the richest people, but what he would do that is about eliminating or reducing the ability of corporations to be required to pay overtime pay.
So you could work and the corporations wouldn't have to pay you for
overtime.
Who work for free?
That's right. And overtime means you are actually working a longer day, which means you are more tired,
right?
Which means it requires more exertion. That's why we have overtime pay, so you don't take advantage of workers. In addition to all of that, we're looking at Donald Trump, basically somebody who has never been understanding of the issues that affect the community about disparities. And I'm going to talk, for example, about how when he was a landlord, he denied rent to black families. Mm-hmm. You look at what he did in terms of taking out a full-page ad in the New York Times against the Central Park Five.
That's correct. Which
were a bunch of, they're not young adults, they were teenagers.
Here she go with the Central Park 5 bullshit. I'm tired of that shit. Everybody in New York thought them kids fucking did that shit. Everybody in New York thought them kids fucking did that shit because you know why? The kids admitted to beating the shit out of that lady. They were whooping people's ass all day in the park. Back then, it was dangerous to go to Central Park, especially at night. They lie and say the kids didn't have their parents there. No, they did have their parents there. Each and every one of them kids admitted to beating the shit out of that lady in front of their parents. Except for one kid who was of age to not have his parents there, and he declined to have his parents there. Now, I agree, they didn't rape the lady. I even said it when I sat there and watched all of the fucking interrogation footage. Yeah, because it's available. But y'all want to watch the fucking movie on Netflix and get your emotions all in the fucking bunch. Each one of them kids admitted to what they did in front of their parents. They all said, yeah, we beat her up, we robbed her, but we did not rape her. Each one of them kids said that shit. Not to mention those kids was fingered out and pointed out by the other fucking 35 kids that was with them. They was the ones that did it. They was the ringleaders of what was happening that day. Them kids got picked up and locked up for beating the shit out of other people all day long. Them kids went to jail on assault. They didn't go to jail on rape. They went to jail on assault and battery and some other shit that they had did. They had beat some homeless man up. They had whooped some homeless man's ass and took his beer. They hit another man upside the head with a lead pipe. Come to find out, the killer was about the same age as those kids back when the shit happened. That guy that actually got caught, which ironically they found years later a slouch sock with his semen in it, which I felt kind of odd, but whatever, we'll go with that. But the guy that actually did it, that they caught, at the time he would have been the same age as those boys, which means that more than likely he was running with those boys in that group of 40 plus kids. Them kids were snitching on each other before they even found that lady. Them kids got picked up around 8-something p.m. or something like that. They ain't find that lady till like 1:30 in the fucking morning. Police ain't even know what the hell they were talking about. There were kids in the back of Squawker. We ain't kill that lady. And they start pointing at the 5 kids that they actually ultimately locked up before they even found the lady. When they found the lady, then the cops like, yo, these kids was talking about some lady they didn't kill. That must be her. Luckily for that lady, she don't remember what the fuck happened to her that night. It's tragic what happened to her, but luckily she don't remember what the fuck happened that night. Trump takes an ad out in the paper. First off, he didn't denigrate any black people. Matter of fact, if you read the ad, shout out to Protocol. Protocol, he debated a guy. The guy read the ad and he had to concede. He had to concede, like, oh, because he never denigrated black people or any other race. In fact, he said that nobody black or other should have to endure this. Not everything's a fucking civil rights problem. Them kids was running around acting a fucking fool. They came across that lady, they beat her ass, they robbed her, and then more than likely the guy that they said that the guy that they found out that did it was with those kids in that group. But they keep using that shit to show that he's racist. Meanwhile, he got an Ellis Island Award from the NAACP. He funded both Jesse Jackson's fucking presidential runs. Yeah, that's a racist, right? Jennifer Hudson, didn't like her mother and her brother get killed, and Trump put Jennifer Hudson up in his hotel? Y'all remember that? They don't talk about that much. That's a hell of a racist. Y'all keep letting the media tell y'all the orange man bad, and that Kamala is coming to save America when she's been in office for 3 years and she's been fucking MIA until they gave her this go ahead.
Black and brown teenagers took out a full-page ad on in the New York Times calling for their execution for crimes they did not commit. They were innocent. Donald Trump, who said of the first black president of the United States, the birtherism, to have people question whether he was born in the United States, to try and diminish. And then most recently, you look in this very election.
Hey, y'all, to my subscribers in the chat, who started the birther movement? Was it Trump or was it Hillary Clinton? Unless I'm living in the Mandela effect, who started that birther movement? Was it Trump or was it Hillary Clinton? Because I remember Hillary Clinton starting that birther movement. Trump didn't start that. But I digress.
Legal black immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, saying they're eating their pets. So part of what we have to help people understand is don't think you're in Donald Trump's club. You're not.
Right.
He's not going to be thinking about you.
Now, y'all notice, right? She still ain't answered the question about what the fuck she's going to do for the economy. This is why people don't like her. This is why people aren't voting for her at the polls right now. This is why she's down bad. He asked her about the economy, and all she did was go to, but Donald Trump's bad. But Donald Trump's bad. What you gonna do for the economy, Madam Vice President? Donald Trump's bad. The fuck kind of answer is that?
You think he's having you over for dinner? You think that when he's with his buddies, his billionaire buddies, he's thinking about what we need to do to deal with addressing, for example, my work around what I'm doing to address disparities in black men's health, around colon cancer, around what we need to do around screenings, what we need to do around prostate cancer. Black men are twice as likely to have and screen.
Have we ever heard her talk about a champion? Do you hear what she's doing, guys? Do y'all not see it? She's trying to win the black men over. The ones that the Obamas just scolded for not voting for her. Now all of a sudden she's championing colon cancer, prostate cancer. Since when have we ever heard her say that shit? Not to mention the 400 black people that he had to the White House for dinner. Are we forgetting about that? Oh, they didn't exist. That's right. That's right. They didn't exist. Terrence K. Williams and Candace and Doe Dubes. Hotep Doe Dubes at the White House. He was there. Yeah, we had a Hotep at the White House. He a real person. He a real nigga. At the White House. Chilling, breaking bread with the president. He not hospitable. He not gonna have you over for dinner. He did. He had 400 black folks over for dinner. But see, this is the thing. Again, she's going about everything that she's trying to assassinate Donald Trump's character because she can't answer the question on the economy.
Screenings, what we need to do to address.
I'm a survivor of prostate cancer.
Right. You know what I'm talking about.
Go James and the Lakers are back putting on a show. And you know I got to get the...
Has anybody ever heard her champion any of those causes? Because I didn't, because she's been missing for 3.5 years. When I was a kid, I heard Tipper Gore champion more issues than I heard Kamala Harris ever champion as the vice president. That's the crazy part. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. That was funny.
Specific things you would like to do to keep it, because the economy seems to be heading in the right direction, but the inflation, gas prices are extremely high, groceries are extremely high, this rent. I mean, it used to be when I was renting, they moved the rent up $40 a year. Now they're moving it up $400.
So let's talk about that. I'm glad you raised that. So, for example, groceries, yes, the prices are still too high. You know it, I know it.
Yeah.
Part of my plan is to deal with price gouging. I did it when I was Attorney General. I'm going to do it as president, which is these companies that will jack up the prices of groceries to take advantage of people in need, and in particular during a crisis, like what you see around the pandemic or Hurricane Helene.
Yes. Milton.
Right?
Yes.
Milton, right? So there's that. In terms of housing, first of all, we know that black families are 40% less likely to own their home. And we can go back to redlining. We can go back to policies that were by law or practice meant to not give black folks equal opportunity to home ownership, especially in certain neighborhoods. We can go back to what happened around the GI Bill, and when all those, the great generation we called them, came back, and there was federal policy to say, you all fought for our country, we're going to give you a boost around helping you buy homes. But those black servicemen, and it was mostly men, those black servicemen did not. So you had then a time when there was a boost for, it ended up being not for black.
We talking about 2024, Kamala. We talking about 2024. We ain't talking about redlining. We're not talking about the GL bill issue. We talking about 2024. In the past 5 years, housing has went through the fucking roof. We just had this conversation today. I bought my house at $230,000. Yes, I own my house. $230,000. I ain't had no fucking problems getting my house. I had the good credit score. I made good money, and guess what? I was able to buy a fucking house. $235,000 I bought this house for. My house is now worth $430,000 or $450,000, which is astronomical because this house ain't worth $450,000. I got a nice house, but it ain't $450,000. $430,000 nice. Maybe $330,000, $315,000. Inflation did this. AstroTurf in the market did this. Allowing BlackRock and Vanguard to come in and start scooping up inventory. That's what did this. Y'all allowed it. Then you want to talk about price gouging. Price gouging at the market. No. It's called inflation. It costs to get those goods and services to the market, to the consumer. If you got inflation, the cost of doing business is higher. Not only is the cost of doing business higher, the cost of gas to give the truck or put in the trucks to get the stuff delivered to the stores is higher. So guess what? It get passed on to the consumer. Because you guys want to print money like it's going out of style. How much money they done gave to Ukraine so far? Huh? How much money did they give to Ukraine so much? How many hundreds of billions of dollars have they given to Ukraine that we don't got? We tricking on these hoes on credit, and we ain't got it. Exactly. Biden shut down the fucking pipeline in one day, the first day in office, with the stroke of a pen. With the stroke of a pen. And we wondering why fucking everything costs. It's not because of price gouging. It's because you guys fucking destroyed the economy. And it costs more to do business. She get in there, she start trying to price control the market. You know what's going to happen? They're going to have to cut corners. People going to lose jobs. The amount of food being shipped out to the grocery stores are going to start to diminish. You think you see bread lines during COVID? You'll see them. You'll see them when she start fucking trying to control the cost of food. The cost of food. If she wins the economy as fuck, my pockets can't handle another 4 years of this. Facts. Biden shut down that pipeline. Gas shot up to $3.45 a gallon, but he wanted to call it the Putin price hike. But she about to talk in circles again. That's right, Melissa Smith. We need somebody to work for us. Somebody not beholden to the fucking powers that be, they, them, the collective. Ask yourself, because she's not running the White House. She ain't running the White House, and Joe Biden damn sure ain't running the White House. So who's running the White House? Who is she going to be answering to if she was to get into office? Who was it, Jonah? West Exec Partners? Probably taking orders from Barrio. Probably taking orders from Barack Obama. But let's see if she answered the question. Let's see if she answered. We're going to go back a little bit. Let's see if she answered the question.
And it was mostly men. Those black servicemen did not. So you had then a time when there was a boost for, it ended up being not for black service members. So part of my policy is to, one, create a fund so that we will give a $25,000 down payment to first-time homeowners to just help people get in the door. We will deal with the rent issue, because part of what we're seeing in Atlanta, in places across our country, is these corporations are buying up all these properties, which means then that they don't have to deal with competition between the properties, and they're jacking up rent costs. So it's about also going after that corporate gouging around what they're doing to buy up and then jack up the prices of rent. We also need to help people with small business ownership. I did, even before I was running for president, a tour, I called it the Opportunity Economy Tour, focused on black men and black entrepreneurs. What we know is, unlike Donald Trump, who got $400 million handed to him practically on a silver platter. And by the way, Shannon filed for bankruptcy 6 times. Everybody wants to say he's a great businessman. Take a look at his record. I know that so many of our entrepreneurs who have great ideas don't have access to capital, but they have serious work ethic, great ideas, and a plan to do the work. So part of my plan is to increase access to capital.
So my question is, if that's the case, right? Shout out to Steph Kerner with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. You think you got another gray hair listening to her talk? Hey, yo. So she's talking about her opportunity economy. She said she want to focus on black businesses. But Trump didn't do nothing for black businesses. The funny part is that he had what's called the opportunity zones, which does exactly what her quote-unquote opportunity economy is supposed to do. But they reversed that. They got rid of his opportunity zones. They even reestablished the red tape it took for small businesses to even get started. Anybody see the hoops you got to go through now to get an LLC? That's because of this administration and that's in power right now. But she, like Trump said, he might as well send her a fucking MAGA hat. Her entire policy, all of her policies is Trump Trump era policies. Everything she's running on is Trump era policies that they took out. Like I said, that they reversed when they got in office, and then Uno reversed once it was politically expedient so they could win an election. But see, most people wouldn't know that because y'all too busy letting the news media tell you how bad Donald Trump is. Anybody ever notice that the media never went at Trump on his policies? Did anybody ever notice that? They always attack his character, never attack the policies. Because the policies actually work. The policies actually work. But she sit here, she gonna tell you that, yeah, he was bankrupt 6 times. Yeah. It was diabolical, but it was smart as shit the way he fucking did it. He built a property, right? Let's say he built a casino. He built a fucking casino. He make as much money off of that casino as he could possibly make, right? Then when he wasn't making no more money on that casino and it wasn't profitable anymore, he filed for bankruptcy. After he filed for bankruptcy, he buy it back with his development company for pennies on the dollar and then sell the fucking property. That's some diabolical shit. That is some evil genius shit. That is some evil genius shit. It was all by design. It wasn't because he was fucking broke. It was all a part of the fucking plan. It's how the rich stay rich. It's how the rich stay rich. Was it right? I don't know. I'm not a businessman like that. Is it fucking genius? Yeah. Fucking diabolical.
Including giving $20,000 forgivable loans for startup capital for people to buy the equipment.
Right.
And then to change the tax deduction. So whereas it is now $5,000 to make it $50,000 to start a new business, because nobody can start a new business on $5,000. No. And the direct benefit when we're looking at black entrepreneurs is profound. And all it is about saying this. Americans in general, regardless of their race or gender, we have ambition, we have aspirations, we have dreams, but not everyone has access to the opportunity to let some actually accomplish that. I want to increase access to opportunity.
Listen, unfortunately, I've gone viral a few times, but I've never gone viral for GLP-1.
2. At first, I thought she was saying it was getting a tax credit of $25,000. Now it's a $25,000 down payment. In this housing economy right now, $25,000 is not going to do you any good with the housing market the way it is. At 6.6% and houses 20,000, 30,000 above asking. Or 30% above asking. Even with $25,000 down payment, if you don't make over $100,000 in most cases, you can't buy a house. You can't buy a house right now. You can't buy a house right now. So her $25,000 plan and access ain't going to do shit.
To become president, what measures would you put in place to make sure Social Security benefits continue? Because there are reports that it could possibly be depleted by 2033. And there are estimated that 11,000 people turn at least 65 years of age every single day. Yeah. So what are you going to do to make sure, because that, people, disabilities, retirement, survivors with beneficiaries, what are you going to do to make sure that that continues?
So, Shannon, to your point, there was an independent economic review of Donald Trump's plan, which shows that Social Security in the next 6 years would be insolvent under his plan, meaning that it would not be able to pay out what hardworking people who deserve dignity in their retirement deserve. And as you and I both know, there are a lot of our seniors who their only source of income is that Social Security check. That's correct. Right? It's the only way they're going to pay the rent or have food on the table. So my plan is about doing what we need to do to put the resources back into Social Security, but also expanding it. Because here's part of the problem with Social Security is that for our aging seniors, if they are a couple, for example, and one of the spouses passes, that cuts their Social Security benefits almost in half. So part of my plan is to reconfigure it so that that surviving spouse does not then have a crisis where they've already lost their loved one. But we also just have to understand on a macro level, we've got to require that billionaires and corporations pay their fair share, right? They can afford to. And that's part of what is the difference between me and Donald Trump. My plan is about tax cuts for small businesses, for working people, for middle-class people. 100 million Americans will benefit around tax cuts. My plan is that no taxes will be raised for anybody making less than $400,000 a year. My plan is that we give young parents a $6,000 child tax credit.
So Trump says, first off, the Democrats ain't even try to get rid of Trump's tax plan. You know why? Because it does exactly what she says. If you're in the top 10%, you saw a significant hike in how much taxes you pay, how much tax you pay in a year. If you're part of the lower middle class, 91% of the lower middle class received a substantial tax cut. See, that's what they don't tell you. Their tax plan that's still in play today is Trump's tax plan because his tax plan works. His tax plan works. But they don't tell you that. And then she talking about she gonna go after big business for Medicaid, for Social Security. Social Security is based on how many people are working in the workforce. It used to be what, 3 people or 4 people paying on one person's pension? Now it's like 1.5 or some shit like that. It's going to be insolvent under her. If we keep going the same route, the workforce is getting less and less and less. That was before Donald Trump. It was already going to be insolvent in the next 10 to 20 years before Donald Trump. You want Social Security to still exist? You got to increase the workforce. You got to bring jobs back. More people paying into Social Security. That's how that work. I'm going to tax the millionaires and the billionaires. All they're going to do is find the loopholes that you guys already left in place for them to use to not pay the shit. I don't care how many times you tax the millionaires and the billionaires. Guess what? Social Security will still be insolvent if we don't have a workforce.
To help them pay for child care, for a crib or a car seat, because you and I both know the vast majority of our young parents have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources. And back to the way I was raised, I know that the children of the community are the children of the community. That you and I will benefit from that young family having the resources they need. So it's about all of us benefiting, but it's a state of mind and it's a perspective. Mine is about thinking about the challenges people face and getting them help. Donald Trump is full-time focused on himself. You watch his rallies. He will spend full time talking about, I was going to say Freddy Krueger, Hannibal Lecter. Might as well be Freddy Krueger. Hannibal Lecter. He'll spend full time talking about his grievances, about what everyone has done to him. He'll talk about himself, but he does not talk about the American people. He does not talk about what he's going to do for middle class. He does not talk about what he's going to do for families, for working people. And we're 12 days out.
Every time I watch a rally, he does. He does. She keeps saying he's not talking about it. He does, and he implemented it from 2016 to 2020, the shit that y'all reverse. And now you're going to sit here and run on his policies and pretend that it wasn't his ideas in the first place. Just like child tax credit, that was Trump's thing. You heard him say it, and then you just added $1,000 to it. Prescription drugs. He did that by executive order because Congress wouldn't act on it. Y'all killed it, and then y'all reinstated it because it made you look good. The border. Y'all left the border fucking derelict for fucking 3.5 years. 3.5 years, I left the border derelict. Just fucking flailing in the wind. People just coming over left and right. Now stop. The first day you was in office, y'all stopped construction on the wall. Now all of a sudden she want a wall. She want to get tougher on the border. They want to by executive order, which they could have did from fucking day one, shut the border down. They could have done that shit day one, but no, they wait till like 11 million, 12 million fucking illegals come through this bitch. And then they shut shit down when they could have did it from Jump Street. Right. All he do is talk about America and what he going to do for the citizens of America. What he's already done for the citizens of America. Go around the hood. Go around and talk to some real people in the hood. They don't got to understand politics or understand the economics of shit. They know that when Donnie T was in office, they had more money in their pocket. Kamala and Joe in office, they broke. They'll tell you that shit. That's why Trump gaining more of the black vote. It ain't fucking black millionaires and billionaires. It's the lower middle class black folks that's fucking with him. Because they see, yo, we had money. At least we had money under him. Maybe we don't agree with the fuck he say out his mouth, but at least we was getting money and we wasn't struggling like we struggling. See, people can be one issue voters. And you're going to see a lot of that shit come November 5th. But again, it's just like, this is why people not fucking with her. It's because he asked her specifically about what she going to do. And what the first thing she do? She jumped to Trump. She jumped to Trump. There you go. Melissa said you talked about it at the rally, in the New York rally. People stand with Trump. This shit is crazy. Yes, he said it first, and the next day she fucking came out and said $6,000. He said $5,000. Now she say $6,000. They're not. You motherfuckers are the fucking minority right now. Y'all is the minority right now. But y'all don't see it because y'all letting the news fucking lie to you. "24-year-old butcher." Both folks say unemployment's at an all-time low. Yeah, no shit. We need money, so we working 2 jobs. Not to mention, they got caught lying about their jobs report. They got caught lying about their jobs report. They didn't create that many jobs. It ain't at an all-time low. Like he just said, most people working 2 jobs. In the grand scheme of things, we back at fucking zero. We went from negative to zero. We back at zero trying to gain. No, they not neck and neck. The news want to tell you that they neck and neck. They not. If they was neck and neck, they wouldn't be fucking sending Obama out this bitch to help her save face in Michigan. They wouldn't be trying to shame black men to fucking vote for her. They wouldn't have Michelle Obama go back to Michigan again and try to shame people into voting for her. They know they down bad. Even Obama's chief strategist when he was in office, David Axelrod, said that she fucked up and she fumbled the ball. People on the left are slowly but surely moving away from her. And y'all motherfuckers don't see the fucking writing on the wall. Anyway, we got 182 on the vert stream. And we got 36 over on the horizontal stream. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit that notification icon. It'll let you know when I got new content coming out. Let's beat YouTube's algorithm.
This is probably one of the most serious elections that we have faced in our lifetime. My perspective, and I will be the kind of president who spends full time focused on the needs of the people. That has been my career. I have spent my whole career as a public servant trying to uplift the condition of other people, knowing what is possible and doing it with a sense of optimism. On January 20th, a new president is going into the White House. Period. A new president is going into the White House. Do you want to look at the Oval Office and see a Donald Trump who's going to be sitting there filling out his enemies list, spending full time figuring out retribution and revenge, or looking at the Oval Office and knowing you have a president in there who's creating a to-do list that's about what to do to help the American people?
Creating an enemies list. They use lawfare and they fully weaponize the government against a former sitting president because they don't like him and they need to keep him out of office. $82,000 IRS agents that's been going after regular, they've been going after the millionaires and the billionaires. No, it's going after regular American citizens. I don't know how many people told me they're getting audited all of a sudden out of nowhere. Regular job having ass motherfuckers. Now I know no high paying people. Like, I'm being audited for what? They going after any of that. Look at Eric Adams is finding out in New York, and I'm not even a fan of Eric Adams. Eric Adams finding out what happens when you go against the machine. Eric Adams is finding out what happens when you speak out against the machine. He was all sanctuary city until he figured out what the fuck a sanctuary city do and what Trump was talking about, and that they couldn't afford that shit, and that his constituents was fucking pissed. What'd he do? He went to the White House to ask for help. They ain't give him help. Then he started speaking out in press conferences. And then what happened after that? They weaponized the judicial system against Eric Adams. Right now, Eric Adams is in court fighting for his fucking freedom. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Eric Adams. But he's finding out firsthand what happens when you go against people like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the people that really run the shit. Anybody that ain't willing to go along to get along, you can catch it too. Trump already said, he said it with Hillary. He could have locked Hillary up. He could have did everything that they did to him to Hillary. He said, and he said it. He said it live. He said it'd be bad for the country if I did that. And motherfucker, including me, was pissed. Like, yo, for 2 years they tried to say you was a Russian bot, a Russian agent, to cover their ass with what they did with spying on you during the fucking 2016 election. He had more than enough ammo to arrest her, but he said, you know what? It ain't good for the nation, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But they worry about him getting retribution. Y'all wouldn't have to worry about him getting retribution if you guys wasn't trying to fucking kill him. He said that his success would be his retribution. That's what he said. That's a quote. His success would be the retribution. That's what he said. Better than me. I'd have came after all y'all motherfuckers. I'd have came after everywhere. The January 6th, y'all motherfuckers gonna get it. I'd have came after everybody. Two can play that game. That's how I did it.
So raising minimum age of Social Security, that's not on the table for you.
No. Look, people work hard all their lives, and they deserve to be able to retire with dignity. I'll tell you how I come at this. I come at it from a number of perspectives, including thinking about how I was raised in terms of how you take care of the elders, right? I think about it in terms of taking care of my mother when she was sick and dying from cancer. So one of my policies, for example, is to help Medicare pay for home health care for seniors. Why? Because look, I did it, and it means, trying to cook for an elder, to make something they feel like eating, right? To help them put on a sweater. And we have so many people who are in the sandwich generation. They're raising their young kids and taking care of their parents. And either they have to deplete their savings to qualify for Medicaid, right? To be able to help pay for home health care, or they have to quit their job to do the work of taking care of their kids and their parent. And I just believe that's not right. That we should have policies that give people dignity, especially our seniors. So my plan is Medicare pays for home health care. Okay. And no, I would not raise the age of eligibility for social.
So not the Affordable Care Act, Medicare, not the Affordable Care Act. Okay. So I thought you just said that you was mad because Trump tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, but you're not touting the Affordable Care Act to take care of senior citizens and their medical needs. I'm having a hard time understanding that. Are you for Medicare or are you for Obamacare? Because earlier in the thing you was going after Trump for trying to get rid of Obamacare, but it sounds like you trying to get rid of it too. I'm also certain that Trump wants to keep Obamacare. I mean, Medicare. Sound like, yeah. I could have swore Trump said he said Medicare should be able to deal with it. I'm almost certain that's what he said. Now that's what she sound like she's saying. She's verbatim. Straight up. Yeah.
Social Security, because the same thing. We shouldn't force people to work until they're 70 in order to retire and have a moment to just enjoy their life and not worry about how they're going to pay their rent.
Is Medicare for all a priority for you?
What is a priority for me is making sure that access to health care is a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. That's why I am in favor of and have pushed and been a leader on capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month. And why?
So when Trump wanted that, why didn't you champion that? Why did y'all capping it at $35 a month? Why didn't you champion it when Trump had it capped at $35 a month? If you're such a proponent for it, why didn't you do that? Why did you kill that? That's the shit y'all should be asking, Kamala bots. What's up, Kunta? Kunta's back in the building. Why don't you ask that question? If you were such a proponent for lowering the cost of prescription drugs, why did you kill Trump's bill? Somebody got to come on, give me an answer.
I intend to allow Medicare to actually negotiate against the big pharmaceutical companies to bring down the cost of prescription medication for everybody. That's why I have fought for what we need to do around making sure Medicare covers senior care. Access to health care should not be a question of how much money you have in your back pocket. That's just not right. And I feel strongly about that.
Blacks for Trump. They feel that Trump is better for the black community. Can you explain Donald Trump's history with blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden, I mean, it's been like this because a lot of people used to say, I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto because he was, I mean, for a lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should he be president of the United States?
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Should he have...
See how she tried to pivot? That was a terrible question. If they were trying, it was a terrible question by Shannon Sharp. That was like if you trying to give her a softball, you shouldn't have asked that question, because she ain't gonna call black men and women deplorables right now. She's not gonna do that. She did that when she was, a senator and shit like that. She showed us that she didn't give a shit about black people while she was the vice president. Right? She showed us that shit. But she can't say that in this interview. She had to pivot away from it. She just had to pivot away from that. She couldn't do it. He didn't ask you if he should be president. Why are so many black people starting to pivot to Trump? Is the question that he asked. But here we go with it.
The ability to sit behind the seal of the President of the United States when he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States. You know what that would mean?
He never said that. He never. And the fact that Shannon Sharp not smart enough to fact check her. He not smart enough to fact check her. He gonna let that shit ride. He not smart enough to fact check her. That's the crazy part.
In the Constitution of the United States is your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. Your Fifth Amendment right. Your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
Well, a lot of rights gonna be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment.
Yes.
Look,
Y'all hear this lie? Your First Amendment rights are going. No, they're the ones that want to change the landscape of the Constitution. First off, they want to get rid of the Second Amendment altogether, because if you get rid of the Second Amendment, they can fucking lay waste to the fucking Constitution. The First Amendment, they said first off, who said that no amendment is absolute? Was that Joe Biden that said that shit? If I'm not mistaken, was it Joe Biden that said that shit? They want to change the landscape of the Constitution. They want to get rid of the fucking First Amendment. They want to create quote unquote hate speech laws. Speech is subjective, if y'all didn't know, right? Speech is subjective. I could say something that you don't agree with and it might offend you, but the next person, they like, what the fuck was wrong with what he just said? It's subjective, but now they want to make hate speech laws. They want to lock you up based on what you say. They want to fine you based on what you say. They talk about he want to terminate the Constitution. They want to terminate the Constitution. That's what the Great Reset's about. You got to crash the system in order to have a fucking in order to have a reset. You got to crash the system before you can have a reset. For all y'all dummies that think that I'm lying about Trump with the fucking prescription drugs things. Here we go. Reuters. Reuters is not a fucking right-leaning fucking publication. This is from July 4th, 2020. Trump signs orders to lower prescription drug prices. July 4th, 2020. July 27th, 2020. Congress didn't act on prescription drug prices, so President Trump did. February 1st, 2021. Biden freeze hits 2 Trump drug price rules. Go look it up. Those are the articles. You can go look them up. The prescription drug thing was him. It wasn't Kamala Harris, her champion in it. No, it wasn't her. It was Trump that did the shit. February of 21, they reversed the shit, and then they Uno reversed the shit because it was politically expedient.
In favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away. He wants to terminate the Constitution.
Did y'all hear that fucking bold-faced lie? Did y'all hear that bold-faced lie?
Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away. It's unreasonable search and seizure. Your Fifth Amendment right.
Meanwhile, we got a gentleman in New York who just went to jail because they violated his Fourth Amendment and his Second Amendment. They violated his Fourth Amendment and his Second Amendment, and he's in Rikers right now for some shit that was not illegal. We ain't skating past this whole she don't want to take nobody guns. She said she would put legislation in first day restricting the ownership of quote unquote assault weapons. Now she's going to sit up here and lie about that she's not trying to take nobody's guns. Are we serious right now? Exactly, Steph. Free Dexter Taylor. Free Dexter Taylor. Go look up Dexter Taylor's case. Go look up Dexter Taylor's case. Nothing he did was illegal. But they went to his house, violated his Fourth Amendment right, and put that man in prison. But y'all want to say they believe this bullshit. Even y'all Kamala supporters should admit that she just lied about not wanting to take guns.
Your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
Well, a lot of
Right.
rights going to be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment.
Yes.
Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away. He wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States. He is the same one, like I said earlier, who denied rent to black families, who took out that full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of those children, who birtherism accusations against the first black president. Not to mention please ask folks to Google Project 2025.
Yeah.
He would get rid of the $35 a month cap on insulin.
Project 2025. Again, here she go lying, but nobody's going to fact check her because again, Shannon Sharp's not smart enough.
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Have you heard from?
We're not going to. What'd she just say? Did she just say he's going to violate the Fourth Amendment?
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Have you heard from?
But she ain't trying to take guns. But she won't walk in your house even though you legally own the gun. Are we serious right now? Are we serious? Are we serious?
For great ideas, as I've said many times.
Huh? Are we serious right now?
Adding to your gun control agenda? Yeah, I think it's a great idea. But I mean, listen, I don't think we lack for great ideas. As I've said many times, we've been having great ideas for decades. The problem is that Congress has not had the courage to act. And that is why, from the beginning, I have said my agenda includes attempting to get Congress to act, but if they don't within the first 100 days of my administration, I'm going to take executive action. Because what we need is action. Adding to your gun control agenda?
She's going to take her gun control agenda, her gun control agenda, she's going to take executive action. But she's not trying to take your guns. See, she's trying to deflect all this shit on Donald Trump. This is the shit they want to do. Project 2025 again. The guy that runs the think tank, Donnie T said, I don't know what the fuck that is. The guy that runs the think tank said, yeah, he don't got shit to do with it. But he got Agenda 47. But again, he got Agenda 47. But you guys don't want to what? You don't want to go attack him on Agenda 47. Nah, y'all don't want to attack him on Agenda 47. That's the one he touts. That's the one that's on his website. Y'all don't want to go over there and look at that one and then start yelling about that one. Y'all want to start pushing this fucking Project 2025 bullshit. Fucking ridiculous.
We know how many of our seniors had it. I'll give you another example of why Donald Trump has not earned the support of folks to be president.
You understand she still ain't answered the question though, right? Why so many black people starting to vote support Trump? She still ain't answered that question. What is that? She talked about them coming in to your house to even check. You're locking it up right with whatever guns they don't force you to sell to them. Mm-hmm. They coming in with their guns. They're gonna force their way into your house with their guns to see what you doing with your gun. Here's another dumbass. Military weapons should be banned from normal citizens. Get out of here. Exactly. QAnon for liberals. No, they don't know no fucking military weapon is. They probably think the guns on the back on my wall are military weapons. That's what they think. They think the guns on my wall are military weapons. That's the funny part. Oh, that shit is fucking hilarious.
Of the United States again. When he was president the last time, during the height of COVID, 1 in 3 black Americans knew somebody who died from COVID. You remember those days?
I do.
And people couldn't get their hands on a COVID test. At that very same time, Donald Trump as president secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia for his personal use. While Americans were dying every day, he has not earned the right to be president of the United States.
Again, straight lie. Straight lie. Oh my gosh, yo. Mind you, shout out to Dr. Tanai Ricks who called the shit and then they later on figured it out during that whole fucking situation that the COVID test couldn't trace or couldn't detect COVID. The PCR test couldn't, all it could do was tell you if you had a quote unquote coronavirus in your body. It couldn't tell you if it was the flu, pneumonia, or the base. So a lot of false positives. Remember the president of, was it the president of Tanzania? Was that who it was? Who fucking squeezed a fucking grapefruit and tested a goat and they both tested positive? He's like, I ain't giving this shit to my people. And then he was like dead a week later.
It's one thing if he has a television show that's very popular. He can put his name on a building. Even though we all know he was not a terribly good businessman, which is why he filed for bankruptcy 6 times. But that is one thing. To be president of the United States means to try and find common ground, to build consensus, to lift up the American people instead of trying to beat people down all the time. It means solving problems, which means you have to be able to get out of your own head and scan to be concerned about the well-being of other people and then do something about it. Does anyone think Donald Trump thinks that way?
Yeah, well, empathy requires you to divorce your own ego to see yourself as someone else.
That's exactly right. And we know that's not his character. So it's
not her character. It's not her character, or the character of the people that control her. Yeah, she is. No, and nobody's saying that a woman. No, she's not the woman to lead. They would have had a better chance with old Kill Clinton than they have with her right now. They're grasping at straws now. They're grasping at straws. They know that she was a bust. She was a bust. She ain't solved shit. And that's the other thing, that she's sitting here, all this shit that she's saying she's going to champion when she's the president. She ain't championing this shit as the vice president. Why didn't they get any of these policies that she's talking about she wants to run through? When for 2 years they had the House and the Senate, and by having the Senate, she was the tie-breaking vote. So they could have got whatever policy she's talking about. They could have got that shit right on through. They didn't give a fuck about you. They didn't give a fuck about America. All they cared about was Ukraine, and they on the fence about they funding both sides in Israel. Make no mistake, they funding Iran and they funding Israel. That's what they care about, their foreign interests. But y'all keep shucking and jiving for this bitch. Y'all keep shucking and jiving.
Is this the right person for that job? Right?
He said immigrants are taking black jobs. I don't know what those black jobs that they're taking. Can you elaborate on that? What the immigrants are taking? What black jobs are they?
Well, it's just another example of him trying to divide and him trying to scare people.
That's a fact.
It's just another example of him doing that, of him trying to say it's either you or them. Right? Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that it's incredibly demeaning and he still has not been forced to define, Donald Trump, what do you define as a black job? Because let me tell you what I define as a black job. Vice President of the United States.
That's a good one.
Right?
Here she goes with the black job bullshit. Any job that a black person has is a black job until the fucking illegal comes and undercuts them. Just like any job that a white person has is a white job until an illegal alien comes and undercuts them. It's not that hard. But they want to fucking gaslight you into thinking that's some racist shit. Oh, we did. We covered that. We covered that yesterday. Or was it this morning? Oh no, we covered it this morning. I'm sorry, not yesterday. We covered it this morning. Yeah. But they're trying to sound like Martin Luther King with the fucking shaky voice. I've been to the mountaintop. Joy is going to come in the morning. Yeah, we covered that bullshit. She's a chameleon. She has no personality. This entire interview has not been her. And fucking Shannon Sharp just sitting there grinning like a dickhead because he want to get this check. Whatever check they paid him for her to be on there. That's it. He's not going to ask her any real fucking questions. Not going to ask her no real fucking questions. He hasn't, and he gave her no pushback because he don't know enough. Why do you think she didn't go on Rogan? She still ain't returned Rogan phone calls. They're not going to allow her to go on Rogan. She think that if she went on fucking Club Shay Shay, that she could win the black men over. That's the only reason she's on his show. She probably don't know shit about him or what he's done for a living. She just came to pander to black people, or what she thinks is pandering to black people. Funny part is that everybody pretty much got their mind made up on who they're voting for. There's nobody on the fence like that anymore. And she fucking screwed the pooch. She screwed the pooch.
It is. I don't know about the pay, but it's a good job to have. That'll be.
Well, you know, not everybody is Shannon Sharp.
No, but you know what I wanted to ask? You've been in basically your adult life. You've been a public servant.
Yes, I have.
You've been AG.
My whole adult life.
You've been a DA. Yeah. You've been a senator. You've been VP. Is that what you envisioned? Is that what you always wanted to be? Was a public servant?
I've always wanted to serve. You know, I was raised, I mean, back to however you are raised, in the community in which you are raised, including the church in which you are raised, I have always believed that it is an important pursuit to figure out how you can serve. And we can do it in different ways, right? I chose public service. You chose a different route, but it's about service. And I have always, I've only had one client my entire life, the people. And the reason I keep doing it.
Trump was debate. Kamala did horrible in that debate. She did not do well. She did better than people thought she was going to do, but she did not do well in that debate. It was 3 versus 1. You had 2 moderators. One was her fucking soror on a network where she helped the CEO of the network find his wife or some shit like that. Help her in that debate. They fact-checked Trump. The fact checks were false, and they never fact-checked her. She did nothing but a word salad. She didn't answer shit the entire debate. I wouldn't have gave her a second debate either. Not to mention, she declined going on Fox News to debate Trump. She declined how many? How many times she declined to debate him on another platform other than one that the DNC controls? She did horrible. Fucking terrible. She answered no questions.
Is because
all she did was lie in the moderator's cat for. That's it.
I know the difference that I and we can make when we believe in what is possible and then work hard at it. And my pledge in this campaign to everyone, regardless of who you are, where you live, what you look like, I will be a president for all Americans. And I will work to bring our country back together because, frankly, I think people are exhausted with the anger, with the hate, with the division, the attempt to have Americans pointing their fingers at each other. I think people are exhausted. It's not healthy for the productivity of our country. Like, do we want to strive? Do we want to thrive? Or do we want to spend full time with vengeance, demeaning other people? And living a life of service is about, I think, the importance of lifting people up, not tearing them down.
My team here at Shay Shay Media is always growing and making.
I just got to pause for these fucking, what's the names? He getting money, though. What up, Jamie B in the building? It's killing you stuff. That was her trying to think for herself. That was her. I think that was when one of the times the prompters went down and she was trying to fucking pull it together herself. She's terrible off the cuff. She's terrible off the cuff without a teleprompter. What's up, Deontay? Straight up. That's exactly why. She like I said, she's all, anything you can do, I can do better. That's what she's trying. That's what's playing in her fucking head. Every time she see Trump do some shit, she'll go follow him. Let me go do that too.
Some blacks say the problem that they have to you is that you're making political promises and that you're just pandering. The problem that I have with that, it just seems like only black people pander. Like when other candidates go on shows and they say they're going to do this, they're not pandering. They're telling you, laying out their elaborate plan on what they're going to do. But it seems to you, when you promise that if I'm president, this is what I'm going to do in the first 90 days. This is what I'm going to do. My administration's going to do while I'm in office. You're pandering. How do you get through to?
She's pandering because she's in office, Shannon. We tell you when other motherfuckers is pandering. At least the Hoteps do. She's pandering because she's been in office. She's the vice president. She was a senator. Go look at her fucking voting record. All she do is flip-flop. She against fracking, now she for fracking. She want to confiscate guns by executive action. Now all of a sudden she ain't taking your guns. It's called pandering because she's trying to win an election. Trump say he $5,000 tax credit for parents. She say $6,000. Pandering. We ain't dumb. Excuse me. We ain't dumb. I make greens in the tub. Fucking ridiculous. Pandering. That's what she do. That's what Joe Nicholslick did. We call him out all the time. I say he rickrolled the shit out of you. The only four was politically expedient at the time. This shit is crazy to me. I swear.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
See, here's another dumbass in the chat. What do you think Trump will do that'll benefit you? He's been in office already. He's done a bunch of shit that benefited me. Not only benefited me, benefited my family's black small business. How about the 30,000 people he let out with his First Step Act? How about the 91% of the lower middle class he helped with his fucking tax cut that the Democrats still have in play to this day? How about his tariffs that brought in more money to the United States despite what the Democrats say? Because guess what? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris didn't fucking reverse his tariffs. Why not? They so bad. Why didn't they reverse them tariffs? His foreign policy. We didn't start no new wars or any of that bullshit for 4 years. The Abraham Accords that kind of temporarily kind of brought some peace over in the Middle East for a few minutes. Pulling out of that bullshit Paris Climate Accord. Making other countries that's a part of NATO actually pay their fair share and stop relying on the United States to pay their share too. We was funding NATO. United States was funding NATO and the United States alone. Everybody's paying a little bullshit. See, it's the shit y'all don't know because y'all brainwash. Y'all sit there and y'all listen to CNN and MSNBC instead of going to do your own fucking research. His tariffs and increased prices stupid. If that was the case, then why didn't Joe Biden get rid of them? And why didn't it increase prices when he was in office? His tariffs have been in place since he was in office. His tariffs is in place since he's been in office. So why didn't it increase prices while he was in office? This how you know they bot, yo. These motherfuckers is NPCs out this bitch.
those that says, look, this is what I'm going to do. If I'm elected president, these are the policies, and they will lead to meaningful and impactful change?
Well, part of it is just to be candid. I think that there's sadly a misinformation out there about who I am and what I've done, because if people are informed about fact, they will know that almost everything that I'm talking about doing as president is built on a foundation of work that I've been doing for years. If it is about economic empowerment of the Black community and all communities, I've been working on that. As vice president, I am responsible for billions of dollars from big banks and big corporations, including technology companies, getting into community banks to increase access to capital for minority-owned and other small businesses. If you look at my work over a period of years, my focus again on something like maternal mortality is long-standing, which directly impacts Black men and Black women.
Right.
And the Black family. If you look at the work that I am doing that is about small businesses, you know, the person who helped my mother raise us, who was a second mother to us, was a small business owner. I have always focused for such a long time on what we need to do, knowing that our small businesses are part of the culture of our communities, right? Including the economic fabric and strength of the community. So what I'm talking about doing right now is based on long-standing work. It's not new. But as President of the United States,
ain't no way
part of why it is important is it is a new approach to that job. It is about...
If Congress has to pass a border bill, then why did they take executive action on the border? Trump did. Trump did, and he had the border on lock. He had the border on lock. They just passed an executive order to have the border on lock when they could have did this shit from Jump Street or kept Trump's Remain in Mexico order. Why didn't they do that? Until Congress came up with a plan. Are we serious right here? Are we serious right now? It was temporary because they reversed it, Katrina.
A new way that is based on a new generation of leadership, that is based on new ideas, and frankly, a different...
No, it doesn't. Trump didn't let 11 million motherfuckers into it's actually they saying it's upwards to 30 million. But I'm gonna stick with the 11 million. He didn't let 11 million people through the fucking border and then shut it down. I don't care if they shut it down 2 months ago. They still have a ridiculous amount of border crossings before they took action. Just because it's at the same as Trump now don't mean that the damage that they did for the last 3.5 years isn't substantial. Because it is. So stop touting that stupid ass fucking talking point, because it's retarded. It's fucking retarded.
Experience that brings my commitment to the work I am talking about into being.
Can you give us a breakdown of how you will allow Blacks and other minorities to access capital? Because you speak a lot about capital, and in order for people to become successful and have some wealth, is that they need to have access to that to get started.
So that's in fact why I did, starting earlier this year, my economic opportunity tour, way before I was running for president, because I realized that so many of our entrepreneurs don't actually have we need to do better in getting information to people about what's available to them. So for example, through the Small Business Administration, there are funds available to help people create a business plan. There is resources available to help people just know how that you need to run a payroll, how you need to pay business taxes. Part of my plan, by the way, is to simplify taxes for small businesses. I like to say it's basically, I'm going to date myself, like, you remember the 1040? Did you ever have to do a 1040? Probably never.
No.
Okay, I did. but simplifying tax returns for people, including our small businesses. But the work that I have done and will continue to do is about knowing that we don't lack for hard work, we don't lack for good ideas, but we do lack for information about the help that is available. So that's part of how it is going to be about increasing access to capital. Part of it is about putting more money. So I called up and got in touch with and worked with some of the big CEOs of the biggest corporations in America and said, and the big banks, that you all don't necessarily, you're not there in the community where you can get a $100,000 loan to a small business. You guys deal at a different level. But those $100,000 loans for a startup will go a long way. Let's get those billions of dollars that you've got, put them into community banks who are in the community, who know what the community needs, what they want, what the consumers there want, and then support those small businesses. So that's my approach to access to capital, including making sure that people have, again, simplifying taxes for small businesses. You know why, Shannon? Small businesses can't afford to hire a bunch of accountants.
Yeah, they can't help.
And a bunch of lawyers. But that shouldn't be the reason they fail, because they didn't fill out the form properly.
I wonder what they're going to do when she put in her unrealized gains tax. I wonder what they're going to do when she put in her unrealized gains tax. Just saying. Just saying.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So my approach is really understanding the culture, understanding the needs, and then trying to fix problems. I love fixing problems with common sense solutions. And again, look, Donald Trump is never going to relate necessarily to the kind of folks that I'm talking about, who on the ground just need to be seen and heard, and then let's fix the problems. Let's address the challenges to let them not just get by, but get ahead. And I want to put a fine point on this. Maybe it's a new perspective. I think it is. I believe that we have had great success in bringing black unemployment down to historic lows.
Yes.
But for me, that's a floor. For me, that's a floor. Because what I know is that it should be baseline that everybody's working. That's not enough. People want to build wealth.
Yes.
And intergenerational wealth.
Correct.
And I want to help people do that, right? Mm-hmm. I know if folks want to be able to take a nice vacation from time to time, have nice Christmas gifts for their kids under the tree. And it can't just be about, well, you've got a job, applaud me for what I've done for you.
Right.
And that's the spirit with which I do my work.
I saw President Trump on a TV show, and he talked about defunding the Department of Education.
Yes.
Basically, we know that's going to affect communities like us that don't have the resources. Mm-hmm. And then because he says he doesn't, if they talked about slavery, which is a part of our history, that
they're trying to cover up.
Yes.
That they're trying to cover up.
They talk about racism. And he said, well, what we would do if they talked about it, they wouldn't get funding. And we know what communities are going to be most impacted by non-funding.
And understand that they want to get rid of the Department of Education and get rid of Head Start. You know whose kids are in Head Start? They want to, it is, and to your point, and I'm so glad you pointed this out, you know, these are the same people who basically suggested that enslaved people benefited from slavery. The same people who are trying to ban and are banning books. Mm-hmm.
Abolish Department of Education. We need to abolish the Department of Education and start new. Not abolish, I'm sorry. We need to overhaul, I'll say, the Department of Education. Nobody's trying to stop people from talking about slavery, but we're trying to dispel the myths and all the other fucking propaganda when it comes to slavery. Got to start teaching our kids that they're fucking victims, yo. case in point, there was a lady that caught one of her kids' textbooks back in the day. Not back in the day, probably like 20 years ago. No, was it? Probably 15 years ago. Said that in the textbook, black people came over to America as indentured servants. I'm sorry, yeah, indentured servants to work in the United States as indentured servants. I was like, what? That's the type of shit that they was letting through. You have the Department of Education in California, right? Teaching kids it's okay to touch yourself. It feels good. It's okay to touch yourself. It feels good. Are we serious? They're teaching kids everything but reading, writing, and arithmetic. They're giving our kids gender dysphoria. The propaganda in the public school system is fucking diabolical. Now, I don't think we need to ban the Department of Education, or it definitely needs a serious overhaul. It definitely needs a serious overhaul.
And again, if we don't teach America's full history, we will never ensure that we don't make the same.
Yes.
To do those same things again.
Let's learn from that painful part of our history to make sure we don't repeat it, but not by not covering it up. Let's have an open and honest conversation about it. It happened.
And the effects of it.
Yes.
And the present day effects of it.
That is true, yo. She went to Howard University. Is fucking named after a white man. Spelman University is named after a white woman. All these HBCUs are named after white people. Racist white people at that point, at that part. That is true. Who was it? The Rockefellers that even came up with the fucking the template for public school systems that they run on? Was it the Rockefellers? That's the funny part. I'm all for school choice. But y'all shot that shit down too with Trump. Oh, school choice. I was like, what? If I could take my kid out of a public school and put him in a private school for cheap, why wouldn't I do that?
I think we both agree. I think we can all agree on this, that there is a problem with, I don't know how the correct term, I think it's undocumented. How do we get a hold on that? Madam VP, how do we make sure, because I think I've heard you say you want a path to citizenship, but we want to, make sure people come in and do things properly.
Yes, that's exactly right. So first of all, I have personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have prosecuted the Sinaloa cartel, the Guadalajara cartel. So I put my record up to anybody in terms of how strongly I feel about having a secure border and making sure that there is not that kind of trafficking into America. I also know that we need to put more resources at the border, which is why I supported a bill that came about, including from the most conservative members of Congress, to put 1,500 more border agents at the border, to do what we need to do to cut down the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is killing people of every race and background.
I'm going to back this up just a little bit. I want you to listen to her.
Agents at the border, to do what we need about having a secure border and making sure that there is not that kind of trafficking into America. I also know that we need to put more resources at the border, which is why I supported a bill that came about, including from the most conservative members of Congress, to put 1,500 more border agents at the border, to do what we need to do to cut down the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is killing people of every race and background. More resources would have gone to prosecuting human trafficking. Donald Trump got word of that bill. And he knew it would be a solution to a problem, which is that we have a broken immigration system. He got word of the bill, and he told his friends in Congress, don't put it up for a vote. Don't let it go any further.
Well, I guess 6 of the fucking Congress members must have been Democrats. Because 6 Democrats voted against the bill. You know why they voted against that bill? What? Because Donald Trump told them not to vote for the bill. $60 billion to Ukraine was in that bill. $60 billion to Ukraine was in that bill. I did a video on this fucking bill. $60 billion going to Ukraine. Not to mention, it allowed for 100 and something thousand illegal crossings. It did nothing for the border. And let's not pretend that she ain't the same woman that called, said that Border Patrol was the equivalent to the KKK. Let's not skate past that part. The same woman that said the border wall was stupid. And it was a fucking ego project for Trump. The same woman that was supposed to deal with the border since Jump Street, all she told people all she did was go down to Guatemala and say, don't come. The same administration who had Texas fucking National Guard standing off against Border Patrol. Because Border Patrol was told to stand down. So Greg Abbott sent the Texas National Guard to enforce the border. But y'all still want to believe that she wants to be tough on the border now. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Because you see, he wants to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. Right.
And you don't see a fucking problem with that, Katrina? They just put the money in another bill. But they still give money to Ukraine anyway, though. It is a fucking fair comparison. They used a Border Patrol bill as cover to put more money to Ukraine. They hid money in a bill and called it something that people would have got behind so they could launder money to something else. Nigga, shut up. I'll be speaking German if you were in office. Get the fuck out of here. You a clown. Exactly, Jay. Exactly.
Putting out tens of millions of dollars of campaign commercials full time, trying to suggest that he cares about strengthening the border when he had an opportunity to participate in a solution, which he killed because he's not about problem solving. It's about a political game for him. My point is, we got to strengthen the border, and we need to have.
So when she was the tie-breaking vote in the Senate, why didn't they pass that bill, Katrina? When she was border czar, why didn't they pass that bill? She had a tie-breaking vote. They could have got that shit through. Again, it's because it was $60 billion. That was a money laundering bill. That's what it was. That Trump pulled that shit and had like $60 billion going to Israel. These motherfuckers would be sitting here reeing all over the place.
Have an immigration system that is fair and humane and strong in terms of making sure that people have to earn citizenship. They have to work hard to get it.
They had the House and the Senate. Democrats had the House and the Senate for 2 years. She was the tie-breaking vote. You know what it sounded like to me? The 6 Democrats killed that bill. And rightfully so. Thank you. Thank you, Barton. And why pass a bill that don't do shit? Like I said, it wasn't a fucking border bill. It was a fucking Ukraine money laundering bill.
My plan includes also strengthening what we need to do in terms of, illegal entry in between ports of entry. what we need to do to put more support for Border Patrol agents, put more technology at the border. But it includes also,
if it was a bipartisan bill that was agreed upon, then why did 6 Democrats vote against it? If it was a bipartisan bill that everybody agreed on, why did the 6 Democrats vote against it? Why weren't they in lockstep with everybody else? Again, money to Ukraine.
I'm never going to talk about people from Haiti eating their pets.
Right.
And I think that we also know we don't want an immigration system that's about separating children from their parents. Mm-hmm. We can do it in a humane way. But the bottom line is we can fix these problems. The solutions are at hand. He stands in the way.
Right.
And in particular on this issue.
If you were to become president, would you ask Congress to reinstitute that bill and try to get it through?
Absolutely. And also I would work across the aisle with Republicans. There are a lot of Republicans supporting me.
Right.
In this campaign. And I would work with Republicans to bring this bill back up so I can sign it into law. Right. And I do want to talk about that for a moment. This is not 2016 or 2020 in terms of how people are thinking about Donald Trump. He was president, and the people who worked the most closely with him, Republicans at the highest level, his former chief of staff, his former defense secretaries, his former national security advisor, and his former vice president, have collectively said he is dangerous and unfit to be president of the United States. And Shannon, you can just watch his rallies. I mean, did you see that 39 minutes of him swaying back and forth to YMCA? No, the man, you have to watch, and I encourage everybody who's watching this, watch what he's doing at these rallies. He is increasingly unstable.
You hear this nonsense? Yeah, go watch his rallies in comparison to her rallies. He just fucking sold out Madison Square Garden in New York, the most liberal fucking state in the fucking United States. He sold out Madison Square Garden. Everywhere he goes, there are fucking tens of thousands of people coming to see him and him alone. Not some performer. Not some handler, him. Kamala need bread and circuses to fill the seats at a rally. The funny part is they want you to believe that he's some racist and that he's some unstable person. And if that's the case, then why does he have so many supporters? More than half of the United States. More than half of the United States. Jesus shit. Jack, yo, you tripping me in the chat. Yo, I can't even put your shit up on the screen because I can't afford that YouTube fucking knock me down.
And unfit to be president, according to the people who knew him best. All Republicans, by the way, who I just referred to.
Right.
Who know he is
Start naming names, Kamala. Who are these fucking Republicans? Start naming the names, please. Go ahead and name the Cheneys. Go ahead and say it. Liz Cheney. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead. Go ahead and start naming your uniparty members.
Fit to be commander-in-chief. He who will talk about service members. A lot of your listeners and the people who are a fan of your show have served or do serve in the United States military. He talks about military service members as being uncourageous, as being cowards, suckers, and losers.
Yeah.
This is
still running with that bullshit. Nigga, that's not, no, that shit been debunked. But they keep letting her say this shit with no pushback. You think Rogan would have let her get away with saying that fucking that talking point just there? Rogan would have pushed back on all of that shit, and she would have had to defend her position. This is why she's on Shannon. Shannon Sharp just sitting there. He a fucking football player. And salute to him for having the success that he had. He's one of my favorite football players. When I played tight end, I modeled my playing style after Shannon Sharp. Straight shoot. When I played tight end, I modeled my playing style after Shannon Sharp because he was the best to fucking do it in the NFL at the time. But he get in the bag. He ain't into politics like that. He don't know what the fuck she talking about. He just shaking his head on shit that he heard. She didn't go on Rogan because she couldn't get away with these talking points. She wouldn't be able to get away with Project 2025, the suckers and losers comments, the prescription drug shit. She'd have got pushback on all of that, and she would have fucking folded because she don't know how to stand on her position. So they got to give her these softball fucking things so she could sit here and make herself look good. But like I said, everybody already know who they vote for. Even the people in this chat already know who they going to go vote for. We already know. I got a feeling she is way behind. She is way behind, despite what these polls are saying. And if Trump whoops her ass handily in the fucking polls, they're not going to concede. They're not going to certify the election come January. It's just my opinion.
This is how the man talks, and
not January, but before inauguration. Excuse me, I'm getting fucking tired.
So let's not get distracted by who he was on The Apprentice.
Right.
Let's not get distracted by whatever, building in whatever city in Vegas or wherever has his name on it. Let's look at the job of President of the United States. And is he fit to do that job?
He was a fucking fantastic president who did a fantastic job all 4 years, including the way he handled COVID. Compared to how they handled COVID and thereafter.
And by the people who know him best, including most recently, a 4-star Marine general, his former chief of staff, they all say, those who know him best, he is unfit and dangerous.
The previous administration, your administration that you were in, they got kudos for the student loan relief.
Yeah.
What's the contingency plan? Because I see it's still trying to go through and some of the courts have shot it down. Do you have a contingency plan to continue the student relief?
I'm going to keep fighting for it. And yes, because first of all, what I know is that too many people have been weighed down by their student loan debt.
Yes.
To the point they question whether they can have a family, whether they can retire at some point, whether they could buy a home. So that's why I pushed for what we did around student loan debt. And thankfully, for example, we have billions of dollars in student loan debt relief that have gone, for example, to public servants like teachers and nurses and firefighters. But there's more we need to do. But, if I go into various communities like here in Atlanta and ask people how many people got their student debt relieved, the number of hands that go up and the life-changing experience people have had, reminds me of the importance of this fight, and I'm going to continue to do it.
And more power to them people who got their student loans relieved. More power to them. But let's not sit here and act like that didn't add to the inflation. Let's not sit here and act like it didn't add to the inflation. It definitely did. And most of the people who got their student loans forgiven, they're public servants and federal workers. She's right. But let's not pretend that it didn't add to the inflation.
Let people know that President Trump, if he were to get back into office, he wants to offer police complete immunity, that they can do no wrong, no matter how egregious the act may be. They have complete immunity. Do people understand what that means? Do they really understand what that means, Madam VP?
I hope so, and I encourage people to go online to see how he says it. I encourage people to go online to see how he talks about a day of violence. Did you ever see the movies? Right. Understand. The
Purge. He was talking about your fucking defund the police shit was going to lead to purges because there wouldn't be enough police on the street to curb crime, which has happened. What state was that where they called it the purge law? Was it Chicago? Was it Chicago? They was talking about was it Minnesota? It was one of them. They didn't have enough fucking police on the street. People was running rampant. Crime was through the roof because they couldn't get enough police to fuck. They couldn't get enough recruits. Enough police on the street. Come on. And yeah, I encourage you to go see what he says about police immunity. I encourage you because every time I heard him talk about it, he said, yeah, but you know, if the police do some fucked up shit, they gotta go to court. They gotta stand trial for that shit. He said that. He said the qualified immunity is not carte blanche. It's not blanket immunity. He said it. I encourage y'all to go look for it. Exactly, Deontay. They'll just take her word for it. What are you talking about? You don't pay for debt. What? You don't pay for debt forgiveness? People have paid their loans many times over. I'm sure I paid for my house many times over. But guess what? I signed, like Barton just said, I signed my mortgage saying that I owe this amount of money over a course of 30 years. I made that agreement. I consciously made that decision. Let's not pretend, like I said, more power to the people that got their shit relieved, but let's not pretend that this shit ain't add to the debt. Let's not pretend that they didn't make those conscious decisions to go to school. Just because you got your fucking degree in left-handed sock puppetry and you couldn't find a fucking job when you got out. It's not nobody else's fault but yours. Shit, give me fucking mortgage forgiveness. How about that? Raisins in a potato salad. Get the fuck out of here. I'm serious. Go listen to Trump when he talk about qualified immunity. Go ahead. Matter of fact, go to the NABJ where he was the one that showed up and she ain't show up. Go to the NABJ and listen to him when he was talking about qualified immunity because they pressed him on it. Go check it out. They can't even stop streetcar. Right. They can't stop streetcar races or these block takeovers. Crime is crazy right now.
Again, don't take my word for it.
Take his.
Yeah, take his. And see where he stands on these issues.
I want to get you out of here on this one, Madam VP. You, like myself, attended and graduated from a historically black institution.
Proudly.
And it just goes to show you, if you look at myself, Stephen A., Michael Strahan, three of the most prominent voices in morning television, attended and graduated from an HBC. Yourself ascended to the highest of highs, graduated from an HBCU. Mm-hmm. What message would you like to share with students at all these historically black universities and colleges? What message would you like to share to them?
Oh, know your excellence. And know we are so proud of you. And we want you to have ambition. We applaud your ambition. We want you to know you can do and be anything, and don't ever hear no. And that no, you stand on broad shoulders, right? Because part of what we know is we have a legacy.
Yeah, we do.
And we stand then in that path, knowing that we also have the honor and the duty of excelling in every way possible, being able to see what is possible and not be burdened by other people's limited.
This is the funny part, right? Trump gave HBCUs the bag. He gave HBCUs the bag. Biden cut $43 billion in funding as soon as he got in office. $43 billion in funding. But Trump gave him the bag and gave him a fucking office in the White House. Said, you don't got to come back and keep asking me for money. Here you go. Biden get in office and cut $43 billion in funding to HBCUs. And she going to sit up here and pander to the people that go to the kids that go to these HBCUs. Like, this is the nonsense. This is the fucking nonsense. I ain't gotta believe what Trump say. Trump did the shit. He proved himself. He walked the walk for 4 fucking years and did what he was supposed to do. Why do you think he gained so much fucking support? Kelvin probably one of them fucking boule paper on the wall Negroes. He just didn't start putting money back in college. Made negotiations and paid off as much as I could. I didn't go to Cancun spring break. Get new phones and laptops. I hear that. No problem, Sandra.
Ability to see the same.
One more thing. I think something that's very, very near and dear to your heart is Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
I think 50 plus years, I think 72, 73, when it was Roe v. Wade said, hey, women have the right to their bodies. And all of a sudden the Supreme Court struck it down and says, no, you don't. We have control over that. Yeah. What would that mean to you? So how do you get that? How do you go back and fight to make sure women still have control of their bodies?
So I'm so glad you brought it up, Shannon. First of all, think about one of the most basic rights that you could imagine is the right for you to be able to make decisions about your own body.
Correct.
Your own body.
Your reproductive rights.
And the court just took that right away from women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do. And I think an important emphasis for me is you don't have to give up your faith or deeply held beliefs on this subject to agree the government shouldn't be telling her what to do. If she chooses, she'll talk with her pastor, her priest, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling her. And we need to fight against this. We need to understand how many women are suffering miscarriage and being denied help because the doctors are afraid they may land up in jail. In Texas, do you know they provide prison for life for doctors or nurses who provide reproductive care? Prison for life, Shannon. In the state of Georgia.
I need to see that statistic.
Georgia. A beautiful young woman, a mother of a 6-year-old son, died because of these Trump abortion bans.
When? Trump ain't even in office. This happened under y'all administration. Not to mention, Roe v. Wade doesn't ban abortion. Roe v. Wade gives it back to the states. That is funny. He gave it back to the states where he said the federal government shouldn't be in charge of it. Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that Roe v. Wade was a terrible bill. He gave it back to the states. You got a problem with Roe v. Wade? Guess what? Your federal government don't tell you what to do with your body. Your state. That's your state. And guess what? Just like my state, they had a question on the ballot about reproductive rights. No fucking reproductive rights, about abortions. We're gonna call it abortion. Ain't no fucking reproductive rights. And you either say yes or no, you want it or you don't. It's back to the states. It's not a federal thing. That's it. Trump also said he's for the exceptions. And if the exceptions in certain states aren't the same, then he's going to step in and say, yo, we need to make the exceptions okay. He said this. I don't know how many fucking times he said that. Rape, incest, or what do you say? Or the life of the mother is in jeopardy. He said it. But she'll try to make you to believe that fucking miscarriages and stillbirths are abortions, and that doctors won't help you if you have a stillbirth or a miscarriage. It's intellectually lazy and dishonest. The state decides it, not the federal government. And to be honest with you, I don't even think the state should decide it. I think whatever you do with your body is what you do. I don't want you telling me that I got to take a fucking experimental drug and put it in my arm. That's my body, my choice. But y'all want to force me to take an experimental fucking medicine and put it in my arm, right? I don't got no agency over that door. No. Whatever you do is between you and God. You got to answer for that shit when you get up to them gates. That's how I feel about it. It shouldn't be an issue at all for state or federal. Hell, Dr. Kevorkian shouldn't even been held responsible for what he did. That's how I feel about it. But we're not going to sit here and pretend you ain't killing a child. Especially at 6, 7, 8, 9 months. 4 months. Call it what you want. But we ain't gonna sit here and pretend you killing a child. You ain't killing a child. Thank you, SD. Yeah, we definitely shouldn't be paying for that shit. Trump ain't banned abortion. First off, Trump ain't even in office when this shit went through. Even when they started talking about it, he wasn't in office. Ruth Bader Ginsburg even said Roe v. Wade is a terrible bill. She said the shit. Not to mention the fucking bill's based on a fucking lie. The lady lied about what happened to her. That's wild. That's fucking wild. And guess what, Corey? Then you need to vote differently as far as your governor and your mayor or whatever. How about that? Because it's at the state level now. It's no longer a federal thing. It's no longer a federal thing. Facts. Yeah, I think every state's going to have my state had the abortion issue on the ballot. Period.
The majority of black women and the men who love them live in the South.
Yes.
Do you know in every state in the South except for Virginia, there is a Trump abortion ban?
Yes, I do. Hopefully everybody else knows that also.
Again, he's an idiot. I love you, Shannon Sharp, one of my favorite football players, but you're a fucking idiot. It's not a Trump abortion ban. If the people voted on it, then guess what? It's a ban. So y'all need to vote better. You don't like it? Vote out them representatives that voted for the ban. That's how it should be. Like I said, I argue that it shouldn't even be a fucking political issue in the first place. But if it's going to be one, it has to be state. It shouldn't be a federal thing. A man shouldn't tell a woman what to do with their body, but y'all want a man to tell you what to do with your body. What up, Matt? You got a governor on his brain. Teach them how to have sex, but not how to protect themselves. Everything, they do was careless. Unlike Kamala and Barack, I come from a black woman, which makes it more annoying when they lecture me. That's a fact.
Right. And so we all have to stand, regardless of your gender, regardless of your race, your background. We have to stand and say, look, this is just simply not right. And we cannot stand for the notion that Donald Trump could be president of the United States, he who chose a Supreme Court that would take this right from the women of America and the men who love them. And now we have...
And the men who love them. Any black man to tell you We ain't got no say over that shit. What Chris Rock say? What Chris Rock say? He said all we could do is ask the girls, so what you gonna do? That's all we can say. So what you gonna do? That's all we can say. Yeah, she is. This is why people are starting to move from her. Like, she's answering no questions, and she just but Donald Trump's bad. How are they mad about a Puerto Rico joke when they literally calling Trump a Nazi and singing it? Only talking point is Trump has zero substance. It's Trump. She has zero substance. Yeah. That's right. It's only two genders. Should we be listening to the product of a single parent household who is a known socialite? Or should we be listening to? I can't read. I'm so tired, man. Should we be listening to the product of a single parent household who is a known socialite? No, we shouldn't. But I digress. Let's end this. Let's get this shit done.
Of women suffering to such an extent as they are. I think it's one of the most fundamental rights that's at play.
One more thing before you go, Madam VP.
Yes.
Who's the real HU?
Oh, come on.
I'm just asking. I didn't want to know. I don't know. I didn't go to either one, so I just wanted to hear you.
You know.
Ew.
Madam VP, Kamala.
Thank you.
Before you go, Madam VP.
Yes.
She can't even say She can't even do that shit right.
I'm just asking. I didn't want to know. I don't know. I didn't go to either one, so I just wanted to hear you.
You know.
I need to put that in my soundboard. You know.
Madam VP, Kamala Harris.
Thank you all. Thank you.
All my life.
Ugh. They couldn't take her to Rogan. Here you go. Here go the video that substantiates. See, I got a receipt that substantiates.
So I'm going to ask y'all one more time. Y'all still believe in this Build Back Better bullshit? Man, that buyer's remorse gotta be setting in by now if it ain't already. Old Joe Nickel Slick out here reneging on everything. Y'all can't act like y'all don't see it now. And see, a lot of y'all out here butthurt because now y'all starting to realize what Hotep's been trying to tell you. I know y'all heard the latest about the HBCU's funding getting cut after he promised like $45 billion to him. Oh, you don't believe me? Okay.
Concerns tonight for America's historically black colleges and universities. As part of President Biden's initial version of his so-called Build Back Better plan, $45 billion would have gone to HBCUs, but now that funding is in jeopardy. Our Desmond Nugent spoke with a Philander Smith College student about how this could affect her education.
Arkansas has 4 historical black colleges and universities. One of them is Philander Smith College. Sierra Jenkins, who is double majoring in pre-med biology and psychology, says she's depending on the federal funds from Biden's spending plan.
So that funding could have possibly helped me go out and find internships or create programs for me that have a bachelor's degree and still have clinical hours up under my belt.
Biden's original plan was set for $3.5 trillion, and out of that money, HBCUs and other minority-serving institutions were set to receive $45 billion. But now, that amount has significantly been reduced to $2 billion.
Ain't that funny? Considering back in 2019, old Donnie T gave HBCUs the bag again permanently. But what about when old Joe Nickel Slick said when he was president-elect, meaning after he got elected, that he wasn't going to enforce the YAMI?
While Mr. Biden said he would be willing to get a vaccine, he would not require it for all Americans.
I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory, but I would do everything in my power. Just like I don't think masks have to be made mandatory nationwide.
That's crazy, huh? Because now what they talking about? They talking about if you don't get the YAMI, you could possibly lose your job. And it's not even possibly. I know people that already lost their job for not getting the yameen. Y'all starting to see the jukes? Y'all starting to see the sham, the flim flam? So for 4 years, y'all let the news and the powers that be tell you that the man that had your best interest at heart was the bad man. And the nigga that don't give a fuck about you was the one that was going to save America. Y'all niggas was all out here in the streets doing the electric slide and cheering when old Donnie T got put out of office. And now y'all all sitting around here with the what the fuck happened face. And to all my people out here who gotta go get that yameen because you gotta make ends meet, feel for you. I wish it didn't have to be like that. And at the same time, I wish I had the resolve to stand 10 toes down and fight for what you believe in. But I get it. Y'all got bills, y'all got mouths to feed. And the best way to control a man is to control them through debt. Silent weapons for quiet wars. A motherfucker less likely to buck the system if they ain't financially independent and they got debt. I get it. So for those of you who have to reluctantly give in to this, I say Godspeed. But for all of you out here that was advocating for this, telling on your neighbors, voting for all these measures, voting for old Joe Nickel-Slick, I really hope that buyer's remorse is setting in now. But Hotep's been told you.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. And you're still saying I'm lying. I just gave you the receipts. I just gave y'all the receipts. But I'm still lying, though. How about that? Oh, boy. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all tonight. Anyway, if you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon to let you know when I got new content coming out. Share this stream, guys. Let people know we live. You catching the replay? Leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. I can use that constructive criticism. You want to donate to the channel? $ Cannon Hotep on Cash App, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, always welcome. If you're over on Kick, hit that subscribe button or gift a sub, and somebody will gift that sub right back to you. Every little bit goes back into the channel, guys. Every little bit goes back into the channel. Anyway, until next time, it's Cannon Hotep saying be blessed, stay strapped, don't miss, and don't worry about tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow got enough problems of its own. Worry about today. I'll let you.
Don't relax and take notes. Don't relax